I'm going to actually adjust that path for you here in a second. I want to get to our tower cam. As earlier we actually saw a little bit of a funnel cloud forming along that edge. So that's what we've been keeping an eye on, as there has been a little bit of a decrease in the cloud height. We had a wall cloud form, and we've had storm reporters say that it has been rotating. So that's why this tornado warning has been issued for portions of our area. So if you're in Sangamon County, anywhere on the western edge, north of I-72, you need to be in your tornado shelter, as this one, we've had reports of funnel clouds already within the storm, and it looks like we actually still, like I said, have that couplet to the north of the system as well. So if you're in Sangamon County, you need to be in your storm shelter, especially the western edge of it. Here in most of Springfield, we don't have that warning going all the way into portions, but just north of the Leland area. So we got to be in your storm shelter now. This is a very rapid evolving situation. Let me see if I can get that tower cam back up for us. Looks like right now we have that tower cam showing a little bit of a wall cloud forming. Maybe just need to pull it a little bit more to the west. Let's see if we could get a better look down that line of storms. Looks like the wall cloud cuts off right there. We got the state capitol, and it looks like it's probably mixed in. That warning portion of that storm is probably mixed in within that rain. So this is a rain wrap scenario. So don't go outside and looking to try to get pictures of it, as this has been an evolving situation, and actually looking more to the northwest. Got a little bit of a lowering in that wall cloud as well. Doesn't look like we got a great funnel cloud or anything super identifiable at the moment, but that's what we're keeping an eye on, as this is an evolving situation. We do have a little bit of a lowering in that wall cloud right now. So this is usually the first indication that we have some kind of actual rotation going. And you can see maybe some of it is actually trying to go a little bit more down towards the surface. So keeping an eye on this wall cloud that's spinning right here. So we actually got a really good look with our tower cam here at the studio. So this is what we're keeping an eye on. If it does take touch down, we will likely actually get a good view of it due to the location of our tower cam at the moment. So that's what we're keeping an eye on, as we do have this rotation. Taking a look at that warning once again. So we got another couplet to the north. I wouldn't be surprised if this starts to get a warning as well. And that's probably what more of our tower cam is actually showing, as that other edge that's down here, some broad rotation, is more rain wrapped, so we're not really able to see it too much under tower cam. It's pretty much directly west of the Springfield area. So if you're anywhere in western Sangamon County, you need to be in your storm shelter. Make sure you have that weather radio turned up, or bring it with you, especially if it's battery powered. That's the whole purpose of it. You can bring it into your storm shelter, and you still got some time. Actually, it looks like we got a little bit more of an uptick on some of the velocities back on the outer side of that rotation. So north of New Berlin, you need to be in your storm shelter. We got that rotation as well to the north of Sangamon County. This is also another area that we have to keep an eye on, as we do have a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So if you're in western, northwestern Sangamon County, southern Menard, you need to be in your storm shelter at the moment. I'm going to get a tracker on this storm here in just a second, so you could see if you're down the road of it, where you could be expecting the storm to go at the moment. We also got maybe even some more rotation down towards Waverly. So this is an evolving situation. Looks like all these storms are rotating a little bit in some way or another. Let's get that tracker on for you guys right here. So this storm is moving pretty much directly to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. So if we put the tracker on, that's going to be going through Pleasant Plains here in the next 15-20 minutes. Gardner down the road as well, Fancy Creek, Williamsville, we got Broadwell as well. So we need So that's the scenario we're at right now. We need to be in your storm shelter, as we've been seeing a lowering, at least in some of our tower cam. I'm going to get that pulled up for us again, see what else we got. So it's moving quite quickly at the moment. It's been moving pretty much to the northeast, and it's already gone out of our view of our tower cam. So that's one area that we're keeping an eye on right now, that little lowering in the wall cloud that we're seeing right there. Doesn't look like there's a funnel yet or anything on the ground, but that is definitely a wall cloud, which is usually the first good indication that there's some kind of rotation. Let's go back more towards the west with our tower cam and trying to get that, probably the first area that was warned, and it's rain wrapped. You can see all the rain out there. That means that there's not likely any way to view it. So don't go out there, try to get a good picture of it. we're going to keep an eye on this northern portion of as well, as it looks like it's been seeing a good wall cloud at the moment. So yeah, we got an evolving situation here in Sangamon County, as well as portions of southern Menard County. So it's what we want to keep an eye on. If you're in the path of this storm, get to your storm shelter. As of right now, we haven't had anything confirmed on the ground, but we have heard reports of funnel clouds, as well as a pretty robust rotating wall cloud, which I was showing you on that tower cam. So that's the scenario that we're in at the moment. Nothing super impressive on velocity. Some maybe just background noise is possible right here, but this could also be a area to keep an eye on. But it looks like most of that rotation has actually skirted a little bit maybe to the east. Northeast of the New Berlin area. So that might be following more of an east-northeast track, which would eventually maybe put it into our western edge of Springfield. So this is a scenario that if you're in Springfield, we got a lot of our viewers in Springfield, keep an eye on this storm. You don't need to be in your tornado shelter at the moment, as that warning only goes to our very, very northwestern edge of the capital city. So this is something got to keep an eye on. And if you're worried about this storm, we got a lot of mobile home people, just be ready to act. That's kind of why we have that tornado watch. I'll pull that watch up for us here, and we have this tornado watch that goes into effect until 9 p.m., so 8 p.m. So this is for pretty much most of our viewing area, besides our very southwestern counties. So that's our scenario. We got an active environment in our region. It's going to stay active, you know, as we go closer into the evening commute and maybe after dinner time. So very, very evolving situation here in the central Illinois area. Looks like, yep, there we go. New tornado warning has been issued for that rotation that was north of Waverly, like I was showing earlier. So now we got a lot more just pretty much outside of the Springfield area. So our folks in Springfield, you need to be getting ready, if not in your storm shelter. That includes Woodside, that also includes Chatham. So our folks in Chatham, Curran, they need to be in your storm shelter. Pretty much anyone in Sangamon County, western edge of Sangamon County, if you're west of the I-55 corridor, you need to be in your storm shelter. We haven't seen anything of a confirmed tornado of any sort, but we have seen definitely some pretty good rotation. And like I showed you on that tower cam, we definitely have some kind of wall cloud forming in the area, and we're getting, you know, a lot of good photos from our viewers showing a pretty good wall cloud. I'm gonna get that tower cam back up for you guys, see if we can adjust it. So that's the northern edge. Doesn't look as impressive as it was earlier. Let's see if we could get all the way down towards more of the southwest, and that's where we'll be seeing more of that rotation. Looks like we're gonna have the EAS alert system cut us off right here. There we go. That's a pretty good storm right there. That is just west of Springfield right now. So that's a pretty good look at our wall cloud at the moment. Don't see any rotation, anything lowering. So that's the scenario we're looking at. Does that storm start to drop a funnel? We'll get it here live with our tower cam. So that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on right now. Nothing confirmed, but there has definitely been a good amount of rotation within this storm, and it's quite a good looking wall cloud at the moment. And you're seeing some portions of it actually maybe trying to separate. Real good indication is we start seeing clouds actually go up. Scud clouds going into the storm show good sign of upward motion. So that's the scenario we're looking at. If you have any people in this, pretty much anyone in Sangamon County on the western edge just needs to be in your storm shelter at the moment, as we got these storms rotating across the area. Let's get back on our velocity scan, see where if anything has changed dramatically. Not a whole lot of change at the moment. Still by Maxwell, you got pretty broad rotation. Looks like when we're looking out exactly west, the area that I was showing on the tower cam is right here. So that's still a good distance away from the Springfield area, but our western edge of the Springfield area needs to be in your storm shelter. Let's see, this warning's been cut off a little bit. Still goes all the way into even southern portions of Menard County. So active situation. We got rotation right here within this cell, just southeast of Pleasant Plains. So if you're on, looks like Route 125, you live near that route, you need to be in your storm shelter, as this is an evolving situation. And we still got good rotation down by Maxwell. Let's see if I could get, let's do it this normal velocity. This is storm relative. So yeah, this is a good sign that on our velocity motion that there isn't strong enough rotation that it's showing up on both velocity. So the image I'm showing you here is how the storm is just moving in general fashion. The other velocity scan I'm showing is what the winds are doing relative to that storm. So we're showing, even though it's not rotating as it moves, it is rotating within the storm, hence why we have that tornado warning right now. So towns that are still in that tornado warning is Chatham. We got Southern View just outside of it, our western side of Springfield that goes all the way into the Veterans Parkway area. So anyone that's living on the far western side of town, be in your storm shelter. There's an evolving situation. And like I said, I showed you the tower cam. Let's see if we can get another good view of it. Right now, that's the wall cloud. Looks like it's tilting a little bit more towards the northeastern portion of that. That's so still have a wall cloud. It looks like it's maybe gone up a little bit. This may be a good sign, and hence we're not having great show of that velocity scans on our radar right now, but it's definitely a wall cloud that has been reported rotating by storm spotters. And let the storm spotters do their action. Don't go out there and try to get photos of anything. Just stay inside. Get into your storm shelter, bring your weather radio. We're probably also live right now on our website, so that you could go on there, put it up on your phone, on our weather app as well, you get information. Looking elsewhere in our area, these are the only storms at the moment that are warned in some aspects. So got to keep an eye on this. If this cell continues to maintain its possibility of maybe producing a tornado, it likely will go into the Springfield area. So this is going to be moving into the Springfield area pretty much in the next 20-30 minutes. So if you're in Springfield, make sure you're getting ready to go into your storm shelter, having your weather preparedness kit on hand just in case. And like I said, this is still an evolving situation. Nothing has been confirmed at the moment. We also got our other meteorologist, Darren Leeds. Darren, what else have you been seeing?
Yeah, and Matt, just like you were saying moments ago, not really seeing that rotation with the storm movement, but we are picking up on rotation within the cells themselves, which is why we did see those severe thunderstorm warnings coming with tornado possible tags. And then now we've got a pair of tornado warnings currently. Like you were saying, these things progressing currently through Sangamon County in our most recent cell, kind of centered over around the Waverly, New Berlin area. So again, Chatham, Springfield, Riverton, you guys are going to be in the path of this secondary cell that's developing around the southwestern corner of the county right now. Our more northern cell, again, continuing to make its way northward, so Fancy Creek area, even Athens, as it continues to kind of progress its way up into Menard County. And yeah, we have been seeing some pretty large hail sizes coming in along with these. So even though a tornado might not occur, we are also seeing that hail that can absolutely do some damage to your homes, to your vehicles, and even if you're caught outside in some of these storms. So again, if you are in any of the towns that I just talked about, make sure you're getting into your storm shelter at this moment. Like Matt said, take your weather radio, take your cell phone, iPad, computer, what have you, and make sure you've got it tuned in here to News Channel 20 Fox Illinois. And yes, as long as you've got those devices fully charged, should be able to continue to get updates from us as we're streaming on our website and also on air at this point in time. But yeah, Matt, like you were saying, kind of taking a look at what our velocity scans have been showing, all this showing it is moving towards that radar site up around the Lincoln area in Logan County, but not really seeing that mixing happening with the green, with the red, even shades of pink or even gray. But absolutely, we are seeing that rotation within those storms themselves. And with that wall cloud we were showing you on our tower cam, definitely kind of denoting that there is some strong rotation happening within that cell. and not seeing that rotation happening with the progression of this storm going from south up towards the northeast. But taking a look at just what we've been seeing as far as some of our hail tracks go, definitely coming through Jacksonville here recently when that cell was still a severe thunderstorm warning. Absolutely seeing those hail sizes in excess of 1 inch. And like we were seeing, those cells have the potential to produce up to around 1.75 inch diameter hail size. That puts it around ping pong ball size, golf ball size hail. So again, absolutely that can do some damage just on its own. Take a look at see if we got any good storm reports. No funnel clouds, it looks like, reported just yet. Actually, just on I-72, just west of New Berlin, did look like we had a funnel cloud reported. I'm going to take a look and see if we've got some information on that maybe we can pass along to you. But so far, no funnel cloud reports with those cells occurring currently in Sangamon County. So let's take a look at this. So just before 2 o'clock, around Alexander over in Morgan County, funnel cloud was reported, but that is the only information, and that was coming from a storm chaser out in Morgan County area. So yes, does look like potential for that tornado spin up, but right now we're just looking at more of our storm reports being that of hail and heavy rainfall coming through Sangamon County. And even we could have been seeing a lot of these storm reports historically earlier today around Springfield from those cells that came through way early this morning. Taking a look at the hail report coming from the Cartwright area, up to 2 inches around Berlin. So yes, these storms do have the potential to also deposit some pretty large hail sizes. Already had a few pictures from our viewers. I can try and work on getting those passed along to you, but definitely easily surpassing about 1 inch in diameter from some folks around the Jacksonville area who happened to send me a couple photos over on my Facebook page. But right now, yes, our big concern still is with the pair of tornado warnings currently. Still looking at that radar indicated rotation, but so far nothing confirmed. So it does sound like we do have a storm chaser in the vicinity, or at least with that report that we got coming out of the Morgan County area. So likely having this storm chaser probably still following these cells, at least on the western edge and on the back side of them, so they can kind of monitor any kind of spin up. So that may be good news. So if we do happen to get more funnel clouds reported, or even a report of a tornado, it does sound like maybe this storm chaser is going to be on top of things, or we can kind of get up to the minute updates. But yes, right now still just looking at that radar indicated rotation, and these cells still look like they're going to continue to kind of work their way from the southwest up towards the northeast. So Williamsville probably also going to be in the path of both of these cells as they continue that northeastward trajectory. Going over about the next 20 minutes or so is when we've got our northerly cell set to expire. The southerly one, let's try and take a look at that until 3 p.m. this afternoon. So going over about the next 35 minutes. But both of them definitely look like they've kind of got the Springfield area, capital city, in their sights. And again, our southerly one just looks like it's kind of on the outskirts of the Chatham area at this point in time. So yes, again, everyone around Sangamon County, even southern Menard County, you want to be in your safe space. And then we're eventually going to be seeing these cells kind of migrate their way up over into, say, Logan County. Definitely going to be looking at that large hail still being potential. We've got that energy in place right now for this storm development, and they've kind of been rapid firing here just over the course of about the last hour. Hail potential out there today between about 1 inch to 1.75 inches. And with that 2-inch hail report that we already had coming our way around Morgan County, does look like they could even exceed that. Wind speeds 60 to 70 miles per hour, somewhere in between there. So again, just those straight line winds and that large hail potential also can do quite a bit of damage on its own. Might not even need to see that tornado get produced. So it does look like this cell currently working its way out of that original polygon. So wouldn't be surprised if we start to maybe get an extension of it, whether it's going to be another tornado warning moving up towards the Athens area. or if it's going to continue as, say, another severe thunderstorm warning. But yeah, velocity showing our storm rotation, still nothing all that impressive coming in. Again, we need to be seeing a lot of that mixing beginning to happen with those different color variations, with green over into some red. But I'm going to try and take a little bit of a zoomed in look and see if we can kind of maybe pinpoint an area of, say, stronger rotation, especially in that more northern cell. And it looks like, yeah, here just north of Gardner would probably be where we're likely currently seeing that wall cloud, and a little bit of that rotation just around Hazlitt Road is kind of where we've got that pinpointed right now. That'd be the area where I'm seeing some of our stronger rotation right now, just west of North Lincoln Trail and also west of Stagecoach Road, north of Illinois 97 in northern Sangamon County. And yeah, you can see kind of the progression of that right now, starting to kind of work its way over towards Fancy Creek. But again, this is going to be that area where we're likely seeing some of that stronger rotation. So yes, does look like Fancy Creek area, you guys are going to be in the path of this cell. And again, with the potential to deposit a tornado at any moment, want to have you up in your storm shelter at this point in time. Again, the most interior portion of your home, if you've got a basement is going to be best. But let's try and throw a tracker and just give this a little bit of a northeasterly movement and see where we're going to be seeing this make its way over just the course of about the next half an hour or so. So Green Acres have you at about 237 based on the point of this rotation we have right now. Fancy Creek at about 242, so that's in about 12-13 minutes. Williams at 257, and then Williamsville just after the 3 o'clock hour, so in about 30 minutes over there around northern Sangamon County. Otherwise, taking a look at our more southerly cell that we've got coming our way in just south of Interstate 72, still doesn't look like we're picking up on a ton of rotation inside of that, and we can definitely denote where we're seeing some of those stronger winds kind of starting to push their way in. But Matt, that's kind of what I'm seeing, and especially with this northerly cell, absolutely looks like this is that area here. This little gray denotation inside of the green is where we're likely seeing that wall cloud continuing to progress its way towards Fancy Creek.
Yeah, exactly right, Darren. I got that wall cloud now up on our tower cam, if we could pull up our graphic here. And it's definitely showing a little bit of a lowering across the board, nothing identified maybe as a funnel yet. Our other storm on more of the southwestern portion of Sangamon County, it's more blocked by rain, so we can't see it with our tower cam. But this is just northwest of the Springfield area, showing that the wall cloud is still looking quite nice, maybe not as organized as earlier. And I want to go back to our velocity scan, because a couple minutes ago there was a good uptick in maybe the velocity right there by Loyoma, and that's what is when we're keeping an eye on. We had almost a rotation near the just southeast of New Berlin a couple minutes ago. This was at 225, so it's 230 right now. So that was 5 minutes ago. They had some rotation there, as well as some rotation on our other edge. And let's see, our latest scan is now showing by Bates maybe some more rotation as well. So this is still an evolving scenario, and we'll likely see another warning probably get issued into more of the Springfield area if this continues. So people in Springfield, we got a lot of our viewers in Springfield. You need to be in your storm shelter. I'm going to pull up here where you need to be. If you're in a mobile home, highly recommend that you get ready to go to any other strong, sturdy building nearby. But if you're in a home, your best place to be, if you have a single story home without a basement, go into your most interior, put the most walls between you and the outdoors. Anything without a window, so if you have a stairwell or even a bathroom without it, good place could be is also where you do your laundry if you have a washer and dryer. And if you're in a bathroom, get into the bathtub. If you have time to put a mattress over your head, that's what you want to do. Like I said, there's nothing confirmed on the ground right now, but if you have a basement, that's the best place to be. And we got apartments here in the Springfield area, so if you're in an apartment, you need to be on your lowest floor, and if there isn't a basement or a parking garage underground, we got the Old State Capitol downtown. That's probably a good place to be. You could also just go into your most interior room that's putting the most walls between you and the outdoors as possible, getting that tower cam back off. It's looking that wall clouds continuing to push more and more to the northeast. Hail looks like an uptick, at least in the New Berlin area, but let's go back to velocity as that's the most important thing at the moment. The northern storm getting closer to the Fancy Creek area, where we are seeing some rotation. It's not super strong. It's more aloft, and it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm guessing has a tornado tag possible on it as well. Our southern storm that's near Curran, and that's south of I-72, but it looks like we've had some pockets of sporadic rotation starting to pick up, where those greens are going towards the radar, and that radar site that we're referencing, it's all the way up in Lincoln. So anything that's moving green is moving towards Lincoln. Anything that's moving red is moving away from that radar site. So that's kind of a spinning rotation that we're seeing. So this is probably the more impressive storm at the moment. We'll see if this continues to stay warned. And we're starting to get the raindrops here at the studio. Looking on our velocity, kind of could see a general hooking motion within just the rain indicated. That's usually a good indication. And if we put up our velocity scan, that's pretty much overlapping right where that hook is, where we're seeing that rotation. So still nothing confirmed on any of these storms. And it looks like this rotation on the Fancy Creek storm is out of the box now, and that warning just expired or been canceled. So I would say the main thing to keep an eye on is the people going into southern Springfield, that's southern view, as well as it looks like this is now north of the Chatham area. Folks in Chatham, if you have a good view of this, you can send us those photos, as it looks like that's now north of you, and you shouldn't be blocked by any rain. So if you have a good image of that wall cloud, we can't pull up our tower cam for that storm because it's blocked by all the rainfall, as our tower cam is all the way on the eastern side of Springfield around here. So we can't really get a good look at it because all that rain with that storm is blocking our path of seeing that wall cloud. So any viewers that got a good eye of it in Chatham. So it looks like this is going to be going into our southern portion of Springfield now. We'll see if the National Weather Service office in Lincoln continues this warning. So if you're in the path of this, I would say all of Springfield, you just need to be ready to go into your storm shelter. If not, you should be there already, especially if you're on the western, southwestern side of Springfield. So this is an active situation. This storm has continued to show some kind of increase in the rotation every couple of minutes or so. It's been going up and down, and it doesn't take too long for a storm to just produce a quick tornado. And this is still pretty good rotation, a good couplet. It's not super strong, but it does show that there is general rotation. This portion of the storm going this way, going that way. So we got a general spin, clockwise, counterclockwise spin. That's going to be moving just to near Woodside, and this will be going just into the Springfield area, almost directly towards downtown. So you need to be in your storm shelter. In Springfield, get into your storm shelter, play it safe, even though if this warning box isn't extended all the way for the Springfield area. You need to continue to monitor this and play it safe. Get into your storm shelter. I know we got a lot of mobile home communities in our area as well. You need to be ready to go into a more sturdy building. If that's a neighbor down the street, or if that's going to your local Walmart, that's your best bet. You don't want to be in a mobile home and during any kind of thunderstorms as in general, as they're not the best protection even in a low-end tornado. So right now, we've still got pretty good indication of that rotation. It's been going back and forth, and now it's picking back up just south of I-72 on our very southwestern side of the Springfield area. We're going to continue to see if the National Weather Service office in Lincoln is going to expand this warning or not. I'm going to look at what our communication lines look with the National Weather Service in Lincoln looks like, and see if they're going to be issuing anywhere Some people are getting reports that there was maybe images coming in somewhere from a possible tornado. It looks like they're issuing a new warning now. Oh, it's a confirmed tornado on the ground. So everyone in the Springfield area, you need to be in your storm shelter. So it might be hard to see at this moment. And there's my phone going off as well. So we need to be in our storm shelter. People in our station, you guys need to be ready to go to our storm shelter, which would mean I will have to be sending it back to Darren here in just a couple more minutes so we could take shelter as well, as this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, according to storm spotters, probably northwest, north of Woodside. So this is a very developing situation. You need to be in your storm shelter at the moment. We've been now confirmed that purple box that we have, that new warning, is an indication that this observed. See, the source on the top right of your screen shows it's observed, so this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. We're not going to be able to get it onto our tower cam, as this is likely to be blocked by all the rain on the northern side, on the rear flanking downdraft. So this is what we need to be keeping an eye on. The rain's picking up here in the studio. So everyone in the Springfield area, Southern View, going all the way out. We're going to be tossing it over to Darren Leeds here in a moment, because we're in the path of this confirmed tornado, Darren. So we at the station actually need to go and take shelter now, because it's an observed tornado. We're going to be passing on the coverage to you for the time being, as, like I said, we need to be going into our safe spots now.
Yeah, and Matt, like you said, that observed tornado right now, we've got it pinpointed around the Curran area over just along Interstate 72, a little bit south of 72. But like you said, city of Springfield, get to your safe shelter right now. Most interior part of your home or business, steer clear of windows, put as many layers you can between yourself and the outside as possible. We're going to be seeing this system come pretty much right around the town center. And like we said, we've got it kind of pinpointed right around Curran. And so moving northeastward, we've got it pretty much coming right towards Springfield, Southern View area. You guys are also in the path of this cell. Gardner area, you're going to be wanting to get there in there as well. And Riddle Hill, also going to be wanting to be seeking shelter. Pretty much if you were in and around Springfield, safe place right now is where you're going to be wanting to be, and cover yourself with a blanket, anything you can kind of protect yourself if we happen to get flying debris. We do have that tornado on the ground, as we denoted, and here is what we're kind of looking at, is where we're seeing probably this stronger area of rotation is right in between, say, Riddle Hill and Curran at this point in time, is where we're kind of seeing a lot of that activity beginning to kind of shift, and it's making its way northeast. So again, Springfield directly in the path of this cell at this point in time. Southern View, you guys are likely going to be getting scraped by this as it continues to make its way through. Woodside, also not a bad idea to be getting into your safe shelter as well. But this is currently a very dangerous situation as we've got this coming into the town center. So again, everybody over in our Springfield station, make sure you're getting into our tornado safe shelter at the station right now. Trying to see if we can jump over to our National Weather Service chat and see if I can get you the most up-to-date information. But again, we've been kind of watching this cell pick up over the course of about the last 30 minutes. And we've also now got that extension going past Springfield and over into eastern Sangamon County. So anybody along Interstate 72, along Interstate 75 in Sangamon County, I want you to get to your safe place at this point in time. Most interior part of your home or business, steer clear of windows. And again, if you can try and cover yourself with any kind of protection blanket, even a sturdy table to get underneath, but want to keep yourself safe of any kind of flying debris. Does still look like we're getting hail reports coming in from or in and around the Springfield area, anywhere from pea size up to about a quarter in size is our most recent report. But velocity kind of giving us a little bit of some issues. We're trying to go street view and closer in that we go is kind of beginning to give us a little bit of some trouble. But again, we had this cell located around the Curran area. I want to see if we can get our most recent information. So moving northeast at 35 miles per hour from Curran. So we're going to zoom back out and we're going to throw a tracker on this. So at 35 miles per hour, we've got Leland Grove at 257. So that's coming in about 15 minutes. Springfield at 305. And again, anywhere in and around Springfield proper, want to get you in your safe space right now. Grandview a little bit later than that, have you at 310. Devereaux Heights at 315. So once again, we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It was located near Curran, and this was just 5 minutes ago that we had a storm spotter spot this. It is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour, and flying debris is going to be dangerous to anybody who's either caught outside or not within a substantial shelter. So again, move inside anywhere you can. Basement is going to be your best bet. Most interior hallway, keeping void of any kind of windows and making sure you're putting as many layers between you and the outdoors as you can. You have a sturdy bathroom, that's going to be a good spot to be as well. Inside closet, again, making sure you're putting walls between you and the outdoors. Basement, once again, is going to be your best bet to be. Here's what we're looking at once again. And now it looks like we're starting to see a little bit more progression into the west side of Springfield, just east of Riddle Hill. We're wanting to see a little bit of this hooking area, so north of Southern View and east of South Meadowbrook Road. We're getting reports that we're seeing that rotation on the west side of Springfield over by Shields. Trying to see if we can even pull up maybe something on our tower cam if at all possible, but absolutely looks like just with our current look right now, if we're taking a look outside of our tower cam facing over towards the Capitol building, does look like even seeing some other funnel clouds kind of denoted in that. But let's go ahead and pull up our tower cam right now. Because it looks like this storm's starting to progress its way over into the west side of town at this point in time. Once again, observed tornado on the ground, west side of Springfield. Latest track, we had it over around Shields area. So anybody in and around Springfield, want you to get into your safe space. Keys, Southern View, Clear Lake. You guys are going to be wanting to seek shelter at this point in time as well. But it does look like with our tower cam view here right now, starting to get some clearing. Can we pull up our HSHS Flooring America? Because I think we're actually seeing the storm begin to make its way a little bit closer to the town center. We're really getting hammered hard around central Springfield right now with a lot of that hail. And we can really begin to kind of see this make its way closer and closer into the center portion of town right now. I'm going to see if we can get that pulled up here in just a second. But again, west side of Springfield, hopefully you're in your safe space right now. Central, northern parts of Springfield, even the east side of Springfield, closer to Keys and Clear Lake. I want you to get to your safe place. We do have that confirmed tornado on the ground. And again, our last track, we had it pinpointed over around Shields just a couple minutes ago. I'm actually taking a look at our HSHS Flooring America tower cam right now and really starting to see that visibility begin to drop with heavy rain and hail starting to come into town. Let's see if we can jump back over to velocity mode. But yeah, it looks like Southern View, this is likely where we're currently seeing that. See, just north of Interstate 72, I-55 interchange, Southern View, this is where we're seeing that strongest area of rotation at this point in time. Again, Springfield, all of Springfield should be sheltering in place at this point in time. Interior part of your home or business, basement going to be the best possible spot. But we did have a confirmed tornado on the ground. Again, Shields was our most recent location, but this is where we're picking up on other spots of strong rotation in and around Springfield, and this more on the southern edge of town, but still making its way northeasterly. 35 miles per hour was what we had it last tagged at. And jumping back over to our radar product right now, definitely looks like we're continuing to kind of see this movement up towards the northeast. But does look like that is where we are currently seeing that tornado still observed, and we've got this going in until 3:15, so a little bit more than about half an hour or so, and then hopefully we can see this system begin to kind of lift up. But again, Springfield, in and around anywhere, if you're in central Sangamon County, eastern, northern Sangamon County, I want you to get into your safe place, because now we're beginning to talk about progression over into Logan County eventually. But this is what we are currently dealing with right now. Let's take a look at our debris signature. And yes, it looks like we've got kind of positioned over around western, southern side of Springfield. We're looking for anything that is not precipitation. So we're looking at our debris detector correlation coefficient precipitation. That's going to be coming in some of those darker shades of red, maroon, debris possible. Pretty much everything we've got over on the western edge, on the southern edge, that's going to be our debris signature that we're seeing with this system. Anything that's not rain is essentially being picked up on some of these darker shades, and we're getting a little bit of that mixing between precipitation and debris being possible. And yes, that pretty much has everything to the south of Interstate 72 to the west of Interstate 55 right now. So again, having a hard time kind of pinpointing this with our velocity product right now. So we're going to kind of lean on correlation coefficient, our debris detector at this point in time. But yes, we did have it. Shields was our most recent location, and that was coming about 5-10 minutes ago. So taking a look at where we're seeing that debris signature is going to be our next safe bet to kind of begin to pick up on where we're seeing flying debris, things that are being picked up on radar that are not raindrops or not hailstones, because that is going to be our best bet to kind of get that area where we're seeing. And it still looks like we're seeing that progression further up towards the east, northeast, but everything pretty much on the east side, Clear Lake Keys area right now, looks like it's coming in as either rain or hail at this point in time. Everything west of Interstate 55 does look like we're picking up on very large areas of debris up in the air that are not being picked up, again, as precipitation on our correlation coefficient right now. Going to try and jump back over to velocity because, again, areas of rotation are going to be our best bet. But because we're getting kind of a skewed view at this point in time, it does look like all right, I'm getting reports at 4th and Cedar in Springfield is where we're starting to see areas of rotation. But yes, Springfield, I'm going to try and see if I can get this video downloaded and sent. Yeah. So once again, this is going to be our best view right now is with our storm velocity product. All right, control room, I'm about to send you guys a video. So I'm going to get this emailed to you guys. And let's see if we can get this up on the air and try and give everybody a good idea of what exactly we've been looking at. But still, with our storm relative velocity, does look like kind of more southern edge, Rochester area, just north of Cotton Hill, west of Rochester is where we're kind of picking up on those better areas of rotation. We've got a little bit more of this mixing happening with areas going towards and away from our radar. But again, west of 55, right along Interstate 72. I'm going to see if we can get our most recent information from the National Weather Service right now, because the storm's still making its way over towards the eastern edge. All right. Sounds like we've possibly got that video ready to go that I was sent. And this again coming from National Weather Service of the tornado over by the Shields area. We've got the video going up right now. But yes, this was just several minutes ago. And you can see that storm making its way past Shields and closer to the city of Springfield, more seeing central portion. Not a great look because we're kind of skewed a little bit by some of our buildings, but just to kind of give you some perspective on the movement of this storm cell. We're now going to be looking at eastern edge of town with this look at this point in time, but want to see if we have any recent updates, and it does not look like we do. Most recent update was when we had it over near Coran, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. And again, observed tornado on the ground seems to be what we've got, but a lot of pea-size hail to report over at the Springfield Airport. Looks like now it's making its way east of Interstate 55, north of South Grand towards Riverton and Mechanicsburg. Rotation is almost beginning to touch the ground, so maybe we've seen it lift up a little bit. And this is over in our National Weather Service chat group. This is Sangamon County Office of Emergency Management. But 253 is what Mia Ray just posted in there. But it does look like we continue to have that tornado warning in effect until 3:15, so going until about the next 18 minutes. But does look like on the western side of town, again, Riverton, if you're not already in your safe space, Clear Lake as well. You're going to want to be getting into your basement, most interior part of your home or business at this point in time, because it does look like, yes, we've got this east of Interstate 55 now, kind of right along Interstate 72. And again, probably going to be looking at this right here is where we're getting good signs of rotation, is making its way closer towards Riverton, north of Clear Lake, and north of Interstate 72. Again, we're going to throw a tracker over on our radar product, and we're going to get some more specific locations that are going to be in the path of this cell. So let's continue to keep this making its way northeast at 35 miles per hour. So Riverton right around 3 o'clock. We've got Barclay around 3:07, Buffalo Heart around 3:20. And now I'm getting photos from the Rochester area from our former news anchor, John Hansen. I'm going to see if I can get that downloaded and sent over to us as well. So Ashley, Craig, heads up. I'm about to send you another little something. But once again, east of Interstate 55 right now, Riverton area, Clear Lake is where we've pretty much got this storm pinpointed at this point in time. So again, eastern Sangamon County, Mechanicsburg. I'm wanting you guys to get into your storm shelter if you're not already there. Spalding, Williams, Buffalo Heart, Williamsville. Eventually, this is going to be making its way up towards you. Elkhart. And now we're talking about the progression over into Logan County and the southwestern edge as it's beginning to make its way out of Sangamon County. It looks like it's pretty much cleared downtown Springfield right now. So again, this is going to be the one storm that we're kind of focusing on. We've got no other active warnings going on at this point in time. So again, Mechanicsburg, Buffalo Heart, Riverton, Clear Lake. Looks like this is just on the northern edge. Rochester area, looks like you guys just kind of got skirted by this. But I did send that email. So we've got a view from Rochester, trying to see if we can get that pull up. And looking to the north, we are going to be pulling that up here in just a second. Also trying to see if we can get some good views with some of our tower cams. All right, now we've got the photo from John Hansen taking a look at this storm cell from the Rochester area. And so, yes, greatly appreciate everybody who's been providing us with these updates from on the ground. We can get only so much information from our storm radar, storm relative velocity, but absolutely it's going to be people on the ground, hopefully staying safe, and are kind of giving us some of those updates. Once again, taking a look at storm relative velocity because we're just getting some kind of skewed data, but this looks like be our best area of rotation right now is going to be east of Clear Lake, north of the Riverton area, just south of Spalding, but kind of making its way along Interstate 72 as it continues to make its way over towards the east and northeast. So again, this is where I'm kind of highlighting strong area of rotation right now. We've got that mixing happening, not super well defined, but this is going to be our best spot to kind of pick up areas that are coming away from the radar with our green all making its way towards our radar site just up to the north over in Logan County. City of Springfield, we're in the clear now, but now we're going to be talking about eastern Sangamon County is when we're going to be seeing this storm continuing to progress its way towards the northeast and east as well. We've still got that tornado warning going in effect until 3:15. So we've got a little bit more than about 15 minutes or so. Haven't quite seen that extension happen just yet, further off to where we've got just our current warning polygon right now. But yeah, Matt, now that you guys are kind of in the clear over there in Springfield, yeah, are you seeing something maybe a little bit different than what I've kind of got here with our storm velocity, seeing that rotation along 72?
Yeah, that's basically what I've been keeping an eye on. Even when we were in our storm shelter and our master control had all of our information right in front of us. And yeah, I would say near Riverton, going towards Buffalo Heart, that's the area that we need to keep an eye on as this tornado warning goes for the next 15 minutes or so. It's still not looking all that impressive, and we're trying to continue to see Newman funnel cloud reported at 2:45, so that was an old report. Nothing super new from the National Weather Service yet, and this warning still goes for the next 15 minutes or so. So if you're in the northwestern side of Sangamon County, most of Springfield, you're pretty much in the clear now, but that goes all the way up into portions of Logan County as well. And if it continues goes that round, it would be going into the Mount Pulaski area. So you need to be ready, get ready to go into your storm shelter. Folks in Springfield, especially western and southwestern side of Springfield, you guys are no longer in that tornado warning. Looks like we got a video from earlier in the day from Alexander showing a very low wall cloud from 1:30 earlier this afternoon. So it was almost an hour and a half ago. This storm has been tornado warned for almost an hour and 20 minutes now. So this is right at the beginning of that storm, and you can really show that really robust wall cloud as well as that lowering on that right side. And that might have even had, even though you might not see the cloud touch the ground, there might have been enough rotation still to pick up debris and indicate why we got that tornado confirmed earlier ago. So that's what we've been looking at way about 1:30, so about an hour and a half ago. Our scenario right now is still the Riverton, west of Riverton area. We got this very little bit of red rotation showing it's going away from the radar. On the rest of it is green going towards the radar. So we still got that counterclockwise spin still in portions of the western side of Riverton. For our folks in Springfield, you're pretty much in the clear. While we still have this box right here, most of the rotation now is still all the way up into the Riverton area. So that's why I'm able to go back on air while we were taking shelter here at the studio. But at the moment, I would say the Buffalo Heart area, you guys need to be in your storm shelter. We've already had a confirmed tornado from this system, so you need to be keeping an eye on that whole thing at the moment. I'm be getting a lot of good photos and everything. You can send it to us now that you're no longer in your storm shelter and the people in the Springfield area. Do we have a look on our tower cam possibly to the northeast towards the Riverton area and see if we could get the backside of the storm where there's not a lot of rain, and maybe we could get a good look at this wall cloud that's forming. Still got a pretty robust severe thunderstorm with that tornado warning with it. The northern cell does look like it's weakened quite a bit going towards the southern side of Lincoln and northwest of Mount Pulaski. So that's what we've been keeping an eye on with that cell. Our warned cell at the moment is currently for portions of northwestern Sangamon County as well as southern Logan County, as we have that rotation still showing up right now. Storm relative velocity is what I'm showing you at the moment, and that's showing the velocity relative to the storm motion. There's our tower cam. Good look over to the northeast. It's kind of hard to maybe to pick out where some of that lowering might be. My guess right now is that it's going to be closer to the area on the right side of that screen. So that's what we've been keeping an eye on. Still got some rotation right now, and that's what we've been keeping an eye on. We got a little bit of rotation going even maybe up towards the Buffalo Heart area. So everyone in that area, you need to be in your storm shelter. To the west and to the east and northeast of the Riverton area, you also need to be in your storm shelter. We got some broad rotation right now, and like I said, this was earlier a confirmed tornado. Now it's only radar indicated, so it's no longer on the ground. And we just got to keep an eye on all the spinning motion. If you saw with our tower cam, we had and even the videos we saw earlier near Shields, there was some really good rotation within these storms. You saw a lot of the cloud movement really close to the surface, and you don't need the clouds to be touching the ground for it to be a confirmed tornado, just the wind speeds of that spin getting down to the surface and start picking up some dust, especially with all the cornfields we have around the area. So that's the scenario we're in, still showing some broad rotation here just north of I-72 on our western side. There's Mechanicsburg down there, so you're almost seeing that rotation to your northwest at the moment. So that's what we're keeping an eye on, all this rotation here, as well as up by Buffalo Heart. And our tower cam earlier showed really good images of this whole scenario. Right now it's still kind of hard to see with a lot of it still mixed in with a lot of rain. Not getting a good look at it at the moment, but let's go back to our actual velocity scan. So with the movement of the storm. So yeah, we got a couple areas near Mechanicsburg. You need to be in your storm shelter. Couple upticks in some of that velocity as well. So you could even have some wind gusts close to maybe 60 miles per hour. Some of these blue dots are showing higher end velocity as well. We still got the rotation, still looking to see is the National Weather Service going to extend this warning as it's expiring in the next 10 minutes. Okay, we got a hail video coming in. Can we put that up real quick? So this is, I'm guessing this is coming from a Chime In page. If you have any photos, you could put it to our Chime In page. You can find it on our WICS app as well as our website. Just go to the Chime In tab. Take all the photos we will get. We will send them off to the National Weather Service so they could get any of those reports confirmed, as well as if there's any damage in the southwestern portion of Springfield. We didn't see, Darren was showing earlier, our correlation coefficient. I will see if I can pull that up here in just a second, as we have seen actually a little bit of an uptick in some of the velocity. Not too impressive right now on our correlation coefficient compared to where that rotation is. But we still got some pretty broad rotation at the moment, north of the Mechanicsburg area, Lanesville, south of Buffalo Heart. If you're in this polygon of that tornado warning, you need to be in your storm shelter. This still goes on for the next 10 minutes or so. Another thing, when I was looking at our live feed on our Facebook page, a lot of people saying, I don't hear the sirens going off. The sirens only go off for the first couple minutes of the storm. The sirens aren't usually the most it shouldn't be your main way of getting a warning. It should be on your phone, on your weather apps, like our weather app. You can find it on Apple App Store or Google Play. Search WICS weather. As the warnings, tornado sirens are typically only meant for outdoors activities, people that are outdoors, so they can know to go inside. So that's why you only hear the sirens going off for a little bit. If you don't hear them anymore, it doesn't mean you're in the clear. It just means that 3 to 5 minute period has ended. Still waiting to see if this is going to get extended anymore, as we have this expiring in the next 9 minutes or so. Still north of Mechanicsburg, Buffalo Heart, northeastern portion of Sangamon County, southern portion of Logan County need to be in your storm shelter. Folks in Springfield, you guys are in the clear. You don't need to be in your storm shelter at the moment. Going back on our reflectivity, there's nothing really else even behind that system right now, so that's looking like this is our only storm at the moment. Let's see how long that cell closer north of Taylorville. It's been developing quickly, so we'll keep an eye on it. Nothing severe or even strong. Looking at lightning, not super impressive on the lightning scale either, which is usually a good indicator that the hail's not maybe as big as it once was. So this is still the storm that we're keeping an eye on, going back up to looks like the really, really broad rotation between Mechanicsburg and all the way north of the I-72 area. So this is what we got to keep an eye on, as we got that very, very broad rotation here. Nothing confirmed on the ground at the moment. It was earlier, so this storm had the history of producing tornadoes. We got images earlier from Oakland showing that there was a tornado on the ground, and a pretty good looking tornado in its own right. So keep in your shelter. If you're in the northwestern portion of Sangamon County into southern portions of Logan County, you need to be in your storm shelter at the moment. Still haven't seen anything. Rotation by Buffalo, I-72, mile marker 114. So that's just north of Mechanicsburg as well. So let's pull up our studio tower cam here at the moment. Oh, we got both tower cams up. So the one on your right is looking at you towards the southeast of Springfield, pretty much out of the storm, but the one on your left is looking towards the Mechanicsburg Riverton area. Still got that pretty good thunderstorm, a lot of rain, so it's kind of hard to see a good outline of that storm at the moment, or what's that wall cloud. That's the scenario we're in at the moment. Still very broad rotation, and I've been saying it a lot, and people probably getting sick and tired of me saying it. You need to be in your storm shelter if you're in this path of this storm. It's produced a tornado already. We've had images of the tornado, trying to see if we could get those images as well. But we still have a very evolved situation within this storm. Looks like we still have seen it going up and down in terms of our upticks in velocity. Let's go back to our regular velocity scan, the movement with just a storm. There we go. It's definitely been an upward tick on the northern side of Mechanicsburg. It's pretty much Buffalo's there as well. So you need to be keeping an eye on the storm. Still haven't gotten any information from the National Weather Service to continue this warning out into portions of even maybe Macon County as well as Logan. So we're still keeping an eye on that situation at the moment. It looks like we're going to get a severe thunderstorm for somewhere else in the region. That's well to our north. I also got some warned storms, but the velocity on this system has continued to go up and down the last hour or so, and at one point it picked up enough to produce a tornado in the southwestern portion of the Springfield area. So this is a storm that's been having the history of producing tornadoes. Here we got some photos from Springfield showing that wall cloud extending on the backward end all the way down to likely almost near, if not to the ground. It looks like you even maybe got some dust picking up on that right side of that screen. So if you have any photos like this, Springfield people, you don't need to be in your shelter anymore. You could go out there, post all those photos, look and see if there's any damage near in the southwestern side if you live out there. So that's what we would love to see, get these photos. We could then send it off to the National Weather Service as well. Still haven't seen anything indicating that they're going to extend this warning at the moment, but that doesn't mean that they won't. So please be in your storm shelter. Very very broad rotation, but you don't need a whole lot of the spin to really touch the ground. The area I would say probably most likely would be here north of Lanesville, as well as just along I-72, as it's still pretty broad across that area. And looking at, let's try to get some road views. You got Sherman Road. If you live on Sherman Road in north of Lanesville, you need to be in your storm shelter as that rotation is just over your head, as well as Old Route 36 and going all the way out to Mount Pulaski, North Mount Pulaski Road. Still waiting to see if this warning is going to continue to get extended as it's now pushing into the very edge of our box. Let's go down, let's do a downstream cone to see who else in the path of this would need to be getting ready to get into their storm shelter. So that would be all the way out to Illini, Mount Pulaski. You have that in the next half hour or so, 20 minutes or so. All the way down the road, still an hour away, would be towards Clinton, and then even further would be Hayworth. So if you're in the path of the storm, just keep an eye on it, even if you're not in that warning box at the moment, as it's still a storm that has a history of producing a tornado. All the way up by Lincoln. I don't think, is that still a different storm up there? Doesn't look as impressive in terms of any type of reflectivity. Did see a little bit of an uptick in the velocity maybe there, and that could just be because it's very close to the radar site we got in Lincoln. So still on our storm relative velocity, not super impressive. There we go. There's a new tornado warning has been extended, so that does include portions of Mount Pulaski, pretty much the whole area, going into Macon County now, north of the Caters. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on this scenario, on this storm, as it's had the history of producing tornadoes, and it's continue that warning. That warning goes for DeWitt, Logan, Macon, Sangamon County into 4 p.m. Our folks in Springfield, you're in the clear, but Darren, this storm is still continuing to show a good amount of rotation. Have you seen anything else that we need to be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, exactly, Matt. And just kind of looking at what we're tracking, just continuing into eastern Sangamon County and closer towards the Macon County area, still have just very broad area of rotation north of Interstate 72 right now. Like you were mentioning, just kind of nearing the Lanesville area with our more recent scan with our storm relative velocity, but getting kind of a better picture at it than what we were kind of seeing when it was just coming through Springfield recently over about the course of about the last 20 to 30 minutes. But now kind of have this thing out in the open, a little bit more of some rural areas. And yes, we've got that better kind of picture of where we're kind of pinpointing rotation. And again, it looks like even kind of an extension south of Interstate 72, north of Buffalo Mechanicsburg Road, or excuse me, and even Mechanicsburg Illiopolis Road down there. I'm just trying to kind of scan our just southern extent of what I've kind of got on the screen here. But that definitely seems to be our area where we're still seeing very strong and broad areas of rotation coming in with this cell right now. Jumping back over to just our radar picture, we've still got that radar indicated rotation. So again, that's what we're just kind of highlighting, coming just around the Lanesville area, west of Saunders, and going over into even DeWitt, Logan, and Macon counties as we continue to watch that storm progression making its way further up towards the north. I'm going to jump back over, and still we're seeing hail sizes around about 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter being possible. But I've been seeing a number of reports in and around Springfield, going back to Jacksonville, Riverton area even. But it does still look like we do have, we did just get that tornado warning canceled for city of Springfield. And now, so yes, we're going to start to begin to focus closer to Illiopolis, over around southeastern Logan County, over into Macon County, and then eventually, yes, over into DeWitt County and Clinton. You guys just on the very far outskirts of all of this right now. But we did have that tornado confirmed on the ground into Sangamon County, into the city of Springfield. had some reports from some of my viewers. They had touchdowns around the Riverton area. We had that photo from our former anchor, John Hansen, to pass along to you. So also trying to work on kind of gathering some of this information while we're live with you on the air and get it over into our master control. But I've been asking some folks to kind of send me emails. So looking to see if we can get some of those coming in as well. But now, yes, our focus kind of turning over into parts of southern Logan County. You can see this is where we've got the stronger area with that cell just north of North Mount Pulaski Road, north of Sherman Road, in far eastern Sangamon County and right on the Logan County border. So this is what we continue to kind of look at as this storm progresses its way further east and northeast. And again, this storm cell does have a history of producing tornadoes, as we've just seen. I will say good news for anybody watching over around the Decatur area. It does have this track kind of going north of you guys, but you could likely also see some strong winds and maybe some smaller hail come over towards the Decatur area in central Macon County. But it does look like this storm cell is going to skirt just around the northern part of Macon County. So over around Harristown, Hickory Point, we're looking at closer to the Argenta-Oriana area, Maroa. You guys also kind of in the bullseye zone as this continues to make its way over towards the east and northeast. So I'm going to throw a tracker on where we've got this right now. Let's continue that northeastern progression with this thing. So Laena at 3:43, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Austin at 4 o'clock. Maroa have you at 4:19, and then Clinton over in DeWitt County closer to about 4:32. But we continue to see that area of rotation kind of building north of Interstate 72 and progressing its way now out of Sangamon County and over into parts of Logan and even Macon and DeWitt counties as well. Again, taking a look at what we've got with our storm relative velocity mode. So this is going to be what we're currently kind of focusing on at this point in time. Nope, we're going to try and go back down. Got to get my drawing tool back out if I can. And again, computer does not want to cooperate. But yes, you can see just west of Illiopolis, north of Interstate 72, this is where we're still seeing very strong rotation in far eastern Sangamon County, but starting to kind of push its way over into southern Logan County right now. And again, this storm does have a history of producing tornadoes. We just saw that tornado work its way through central Sangamon County and then finally began to see it lift over as it made its way east of the city of Springfield, east of Riverton and Mechanicsburg as well. But again, now talking about people in northwestern Macon County, southern Logan County, and even let's talk southern DeWitt County. Want you to start to get into your safe place. Now even just kind of looking further up to our north around Logan County, this is making its way away from our radar site. Areas where we've got in red, green is making its way towards that radar site. So again, with it kind of right around the Lincoln area where we've got our radar site with the National Weather Service, that all makes sense. But now we're starting to pick up even on more areas of rotation around central eastern Logan County. And then again, coming off that cell that was producing that tornado in Sangamon County, closer to the Illiopolis area, this is going to be our bigger area of concern. Want to see if maybe we do have some new information to pass along from our National Weather Service. So I'm going to try and get back over to our chat area, but we are now seeing DeWitt County Office of Emergency Management. They are activating storm spotters over there. They are now going to have their sirens activated and ready, but still looking at maybe potential for some spin up still around Illiopolis and areas south of Mount Pulaski Again, this is going to be our area of focus right now. North of Interstate 72, far eastern Sangamon County, and southern Logan County. So again, Mount Pulaski wants you to get in your safe space. Illiopolis, safe space. Harristown, just for safe measure. Illini over in Macon County. And Maroa, Forsyth areas, we're going to want to start to talk about you guys also getting back over to your safe space as well. So again, this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. This is what our focus is on. Once again, if you're just kind of joining us now, is going to be this broad area of red right here, north of Illiopolis and north of Interstate 72. Let's jump back over to our radar, and I'm going to see if we do happen to have any new information. So most recent update we got was 10 minutes ago. Still, we're looking at nothing confirmed on the ground, but radar indicated rotation. And this storm located near Buffalo, again, 18 miles to the northeast of Springfield, still continuing that northeastern momentum. 35 miles per hour is where we have this storm currently tracking, just north and west of Illiopolis and south of Mount Pulaski area. Let's jump back over to any kind of debris signature we're picking up. It doesn't look like much of anything right now. You can kind of see everything that we're picking up with our correlation coefficient. And again, we're trying to differentiate what is not rainfall. So again, with our legend, that darker shade of red, more of a maroonish crimson color, this is all going to be picking up on rain. We're going to be looking at more of what's going to be possibly debris signature coming in with that. And it doesn't really look like we're seeing a ton. Again, a lot of that kind of falling in line with what is going to be falling as either rain or even some hailstones. Everything hail, rain is relatively uniform in shape. So that's what we're going to be picking up on those areas in red. It's going to start to then pinpoint areas that are not rain. Maybe we're getting some dirt, dust, debris, anything else that's not raindrop or hailstone shaped is then maybe going to start to kind of mix in, and we'd be looking for maybe areas of more some darker blue, even some green kind of embedded inside in with that. So jumping back over to our radar product, again, it does look like we've kind of got this cell more pinpointed into southern Logan County, just south of Mount Pulaski. Mount Pulaski area, if you're not already in your safe shelter, want you to get there now. We've got this tornado warning still going for about the next 40 minutes or so, set to expire at 4 p.m. But again, eventually going to be talking about Clinton as it makes its way over into DeWitt County. But Forsyth, we talked about Maroa. Illini, looks like maybe you guys are starting to see rainfall rates begin to pick up over there around northwestern Macon County at this point in time. Hickory Point also going to be in the path of this storm cell as well as we continue to look further to the west or further to the east, and further to the northeast with this cell continuing to make its way. But still, we've got right now kind of pinpointed right around Logan County. Jump back over to storm relative velocity. And again, just east of Mount Pulaski, north of Illiopolis, this is our area of we're still picking up on very good rotation kind of across a very broad area inside of this storm cell itself. So again, want to have you people getting into your safe place. If you've got your phone, tablet, laptop, take that down with you. If you can get into a basement or most interior portion of your home or business. But yes, definitely going to be looking at these stronger areas of rotation kind of right around North Mount Pulaski Road in eastern Sangamon County and south of Illinois 121 in southern Logan County is where we're still picking up on a lot of that strong rotation in there. We're going to throw things back over to meteorologist Matt Bednar. Matt, you got anything new to add to the conversation right now?
Yeah, actually, it's not our only storm that's warned. We have another storm with a severe thunderstorm warning right now, all the way north of the Champaign area, and it does have a tornado possible tag. So that means that there has been some very, very broad, or at least some aloft rotation that hasn't made its way near to the surface yet to issue a tornado warning. But we've gotten reports of funnel clouds maybe north of the Rantoul area. So if you're in Rantoul or in Ford County as well, now that that warning has been issued, but Champaign, northern Champaign, portions of very northwestern portion of Vermilion County, you need to be in getting ready to go into your storm shelter if this gets into a tornado warning, as we have seen some very broad rotation. Now this is much farther away from the radar than the rest of our area, so this is pretty aloft, which is maybe why they haven't issued that tornado warning at the moment. But we're definitely seeing some red and green overlap right here, showing that we have some kind of spin going this way and towards. So we got that counterclockwise motion north of Rantoul going toward Paxton. So if you're in the path of this storm, you need to be keeping a very close eye on it. We will too, but right now our main concern is still for the storm that's going into, it's in very southeastern portion of Logan, going into Macon, and then eventually likely going into DeWitt County. I would say most of our folks in the Sangamon County area are in the clear, including everyone in Springfield. That warning has been canceled long ago, but we got this rotation and it's been upticking all throughout the last half hour. And like I said, this storm earlier produced likely a tornado in the very southwestern portion of Springfield. We haven't gotten any reports as seen from Chatham, that we've reached out to the police department there. They don't see anything yet of any damage. If you have reports of damage, send it to us on our Chime-In page. You could at either me or Darren on our Facebook or our X accounts, Twitter. That's a great way for us to get that information, especially now that Darren's looking at all of our reports while I'm taking over. And this storm is still moving at that northeasterly track. So right now I would say, let me get a new path on this for you, everyone. And it's still following that northeastern, maybe east-northeast track at 35 miles per hour. So this will go near the Clinton area, and then way down the road, Monticello probably will just have a warning just in the very northern portion of Monticello. If this continues to get expanded, this warning goes for the next 30 minutes or so. So we still got plenty of time. So a lot of this box is still not seeing the storm yet. So if you're northern portion of Macon County, you need to be inside your storm shelter, especially Austin, as we have this storm still showing really good rotation, much better than it was earlier, because we're going to be, if we go back a couple scans, this is all the way out near Buffalo and Mechanicsburg, and then it tightens up as it's made its way closer and closer, and I would even say that this is getting close to maybe near on the ground in portions of very southeastern Logan County. So you need to be in your, Latham, you need to be in your storm shelter. This is just outside your doorstep at the moment. So if you live anywhere near, it looks like 2300 Avenue, near Latham, you need to be in your storm shelters. This is continuing to show really good rotation. Let's go back to our reflectivity. Still not that general hook motion that you typically see in a pretty good isolated supercell that this is. We've still got this one cell south of west now at Decatur that's been upticking slowly. But we still got this tornado warning. It's showing really good rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if this is having a funnel cloud at the moment. Let's go to our debris detector, our correlation coefficient. Like Darren said earlier, this is showing if there's any difference between raindrops and hail versus picking up any kind of debris. So 2x4 pieces of tree branches, anything like that. Doesn't look too impressive where that rotation was in the southwestern portion of Logan County, but it's still showing good rotation. We'll go back to this now, take this off for you guys, as we still have a really good couplet within this cell, showing even tighter than it was a couple minutes ago. You see those resin greens pretty much parallel, and now they're starting to rotate within each other, and that's when you should see a good strong rotation. Let's see if I can get the shear, if we have shear. Shear is usually a good way of showing it as well. Let's get the shear up here in just a second. Let's see. See if I can get that up for you guys. Let's start with correlation. There we go, shear. We have video from, let's get that up. Let's get the video up from Mechanicsburg area. That is showing a pretty good wall cloud near and rotating near the surface. So that's what we were seeing earlier. That was probably around 30 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago, near the Mechanicsburg Buffalo area, where we've been getting a lot of reports of funnel clouds mixed in. So that's showing that wall cloud. If you have videos, please send it to us on our Chime In page. You can do it on our website, newschannel20.com or foxillinois.com, as well as on both wall-to-wall coverage on both of our stations at the moment. And that's what we're wanting to know. You guys will greatly help us be able to pinpoint. Yeah, and make sure you put your location when you're submitting it. You can put a comment, say this was near the Springfield area, near Mechanicsburg, near Latham. That's going to help us, as well as when we send it to the National Weather Service, pinpoint where this information is coming from. So going back to our velocity, still showing really good rotation along. This is Route 121, now getting near Latham. So if you're near Latham, you need to be, if you're in Latham, you need to be in your shelter. If you're near Latham, you need to be inside that shelter. This is going towards the Austin area as well. Then it would go into portions of DeWitt County, which does include areas like Clinton. So you need to be ready to go in. And this whole line right here, going all the way up from the Route 10 area down into the very western edge of Macon County. This whole edge right here is showing really good broad rotation, but that one area down here is showing definite uptick, good spin. See if I could get our other velocity, our relative velocity, showing that even within the storm motion, it's better. So this is moving faster than the storm motion is detecting. So showing that there's really good spin within this cell, and it's has had history of producing a tornado. We're going to get all of Sangamon County will be canceled from the tornado warning at the moment. This is going to continue to go for DeWitt, Logan, and Macon County now until 4 still, and that's from the National Weather Service in Lincoln. So we've gotten reports of funnel clouds in Latham from the fire department, clouds west of 10 and 2300 Avenue. So that's what I was showing earlier. Let's zoom back in. That was reported pretty much right here. And that's right where that rotation just went over not too long ago. So if you, the Heman area, you need to be all the way out into your storm shelter. If you're along North Kennedy Road, you need to be inside your storm shelter. And if you live in a mobile home down the road, now this is more a remote area portion of Macon County, you need to find a better sturdy building. If you're in your your barn, anywhere out there, go into your storm cellar. And if you don't have a storm cellar, put as many walls between you and the outdoors. Usually the best place to go is your bathroom if it doesn't have any windows, or under your stairs, a closet. If you have a bathroom with no windows, go into your bathtub. If you still have some time, if you're not directly near that rotation, to maybe get a mattress, put a bicycle helmet on, motorcycle helmet. And that's because the thing that unfortunately takes the most lives when a tornado happens is usually flying debris or something falling on top of you. So if you have any way of preventing that, that's what we highly recommend at the moment. So gotten a lot of reports of funnel clouds within this cell here, now going just north of the Illini area. And we're going to send it back to meteorologist Darren Leeds here in just a second. Darren, have you been seeing anything else interesting that we need to be keeping an eye on, even with the cell maybe all the way up into portions of, just north of Rantoul as well?
Yeah, Matt, just kind of looking at some of the same stuff that you've been seeing, but right now we've got this cell pinpointed 12 miles to the northwest of the Decatur area. Does look like this is going to be missing Decatur, just north of Neantic, east of Mount Pulaski, but around Latham and Austin. Again, now we're going to be discussing northern Macon County, southern DeWitt County, where we're starting to see still this tornado-warned cell that is the same cell that we had come through Springfield area, Riverton, but does have a history of producing tornadoes, and we're still picking up on very broad areas of rotation in with this. This is where we're starting to now pick up on very big areas of rotation, is going to be around just far northwestern Macon County. I'm trying to get my draw tool back in, and now we need our camera tool to kind of go back a little bit more. And I'm going to jump back off here. Give me 1 second. But again, this cell has that history of producing a tornado. Zooming back in, so around Illini, Maroa, this is going to be making its way over towards you. But this is going to be our area of rotation that we're seeing still with that tornado-warned cell. Again, nothing confirmed on the ground, and our last update just came a few minutes ago from the National Weather Service, just at 3:29, so about 6 minutes ago, but still located right around the Latham area. So now we're talking maybe around far northwestern Macon County, closer to Illini, and you can see just southeast of Mount Pulaski, it's going to be this area where we're seeing the strongest portion of this storm cell right now, but still getting radar indicated rotation. So again, Forsyth, Warrensburg area, this is going to be close to you, getting real close at this point in time, and now going to be looking into more northwestern Macon County, so getting around Maroa, Austin, like we mentioned. Emory also wouldn't be a bad idea for you to get into your tornado safe space as well. Forsyth, I think this is going to kind of start to kind of just glance past you. Argenta around 350. So we have about a little bit less than 15 minutes around the Argenta area. Excuse me, I'm starting to kind of mince my words a little bit. But as the system continues to make its way further up towards the northeast, Clinton, all right, now we've got an observed tornado. Let me get some information now. So emergency management has confirmed a tornado. This was confirmed to be rain-wrapped and just south of the Latham area. So again, far northwestern Macon County, far southeastern Logan County. I want you to get into your safe space. So this is 12 miles northwest of Decatur, like I was just saying, making its way northeast at 35 miles per hour. We're going to continue to kind of pinpoint this a little bit. So Latham, again, we've got this pretty much going to be getting this area of rotation in right here where we're getting that green and red mixing. But once again, we did just have emergency management confirm a tornado on the ground in and around the Latham area, and this thing still continuing to make its way northeastward at 35 miles per hour. Hemming over in Macon County wouldn't be a bad idea for you guys to start to get into your storm shelter as well, but still, now we're talking about this same cell that has a history of producing tornadoes, now producing a secondary tornado around far southeastern Logan County, around the Latham area, and it is going to be starting to progress its way over into far northwestern Logan County, and it does look like we're still kind of seeing this track along 121 just outside of Lincoln and closer to around the Latham area. And again, we're about to be splitting over into Macon County here very soon, where we've got that confirmed tornado on the ground, and it does look like just far south of 200th Street is going to be a good location, along with 2300th Avenue is going to be a very good intersection area where we've kind of got that. Let's jump back over to our radar, and still we're picking up on the strongest area of this cell over around northwestern Macon County, northwest of Illini, northwest of Decatur. So again, Decatur, you guys are probably safe at this point in time, but we're going to be talking about Austin, Maroa, Forsyth eventually as well. It looks like you guys are maybe going to kind of get glanced by this cell, but still making its way northeastward at 35 miles per hour. No new reports to pass along as far as where we've seen that funnel cloud, but like we had emergency management over in the Latham area did confirm that we had a tornado on the ground. So again, northwestern Macon County, I want you to get into your safe space right now. This is where we've currently got that cell now making its way out of Logan County. But again, safe place. So want to think most interior part of your home or business. You're going to be wanting to get into an interior closet, hallway, stairway, bathroom. And if you do have a basement, that is going to be your best place that you could possibly be to avoid this storm cell. Because just kind of going back to what we've been seeing with this storm cell has been producing a number of tornado warnings across Sangamon, Morgan County, and now here into far northwestern Macon County. So again, north of Illini area, we're going to be looking at north of Illinowick Road, of west Illinowick Road, just west of North Kennedy Road, east of 2300th Avenue of the Laena area, and west of 2200th Avenue in far eastern Logan County. So again, we've got an observed tornado on the ground. We're going to pretty much pinpoint this right around where we're seeing the strongest portion of this cell. We've got a little bit of kind of a hook signature outside of Austin right now, just kind of to the south. And again, right around North Kenny Road and between North Kenny and 2300th Avenue over in Logan and Macon County, just to the north of Illinois 121 and south of Illinois 54. We're going to be seeing this progress further up towards the northeast. So we're going to continue to watch this movement closer to Austin, closer to Maroa, and then eventually over around Kenny, Osper, and then eventually it looks like Clinton. This is going to be making its way towards you guys here fairly soon. I'm going to clear this out and we're going to throw a tracking cone on this and just see what we're going to continue to be, what other communities could possibly be in the path of this. So like I said, Austin around 3:53, so you guys have 10 minutes, but I want you to be getting into your tornado safe shelter right now if you are in the town of Austin. Rowell closer to 4:08, so you guys have a little bit more time, so about 25 minutes from now up around DeWitt County. Still, this remains a very dangerous storm with a history of producing tornadoes. This is what we're kind of looking at right here, just looking at our storm relative velocity. We had it around the Latham area not too long ago, so now we're going to be looking at just southwest of Austin, east of Latham, and again, a very broad area of rotation, but we can kind of pinpoint where we're getting a little bit of that hooking detection within this cell is just going to be on our southeastern edge, and we just got a new refresh. So yes, south of Austin, and it looks like it's going to be nearing Austin here any minute now. We had 3:53 with our storm cone tracking, but now it does look like it's kind of picking up speed a little bit more as well. Matt, are you also seeing similar to what I'm seeing currently right now with our storm velocity and what we've seen with this tornado?
Yeah, I've exactly seen the same thing, Darren, and it's looking like this has been a scenario where it would go up and down all throughout this storm, sometimes touching down really quickly, otherwise just remaining as a funnel cloud. We've gotten a lot of reports of both those scenarios as it's made its way, from all the way in southwestern Sangamon County all the way through and now into portions of Macon County, and eventually looking like it'll go all the way up towards DeWitt. So at the moment, we've been seeing pockets of maybe some small upticks in velocity that could just be a very, very quick rotation. But that's the whole scenario. Like we said, it's confirmed, at least at the it was observed. Probably getting a lot more reports of funnel clouds right now. A lot of hail as well. Maroa, you need to be in your storm shelter. This goes all the way up into portions of DeWitt County. So this is a very active situation. We've been seeing this. We've been wall to wall now for almost 2 hours, and this scenario has continued to show, this storm has continued to show its possibility of, even though the rotation maybe isn't great and a super strong couplet showing up around the warning area, it has been able to produce a tornado rather quickly. We get our scans about every 5 minutes or so as the radar has to go up and down and then side to side to get a good full look at the storm. So every 5 minutes or so, even 5 minutes is enough time for a tornado to quickly produce, touch down, and then even lift back up. I would guess that most of these have been very quick tornadoes and mainly just staying as funnel clouds, but we've been seeing a lot of reports from emergency management in this area that there has been, confirmed of a rain-wrapped tornado. So what that means is that you can't see the tornado if you try to look outside your door. It's likely to be wrapped in rain, and that general motion of a tornado, the typical look you would see, is really hard to pick up. So right now, I would say Maroa, you need to be in your storm shelter. It's just moving close, if not just over your area, as we got this broad rotation even out towards the Austin area. And like we said, this was confirmed near Latham. So this has been moving from the Latham area northeast, continuing its track, eventually going into portions of DeWitt County. So all the way out towards Nixon. I would get ready to go into your storm shelter. Now, if you're in the path of the storm, a couple things you could do. Go to your lowest level. Or if you don't have a basement or a storm cellar, go into the most interior, put as many walls between you and outdoors. We had to take shelter here at the station, about an hour ago because we had the tornado warning go right through us when it was observed on the ground. So we went all to the most interior room of our station, and that's what we recommend for you. If you're in a mobile home, highly recommended you go to a different building, more sturdy, maybe just down the road or to a shopping center, somewhere where you could put more shelter, as mobile homes are really not a good place at all to be during a tornadic supercell or tornadic storm like we have right now. So still very active situation as we got this red and green on both sides, kind of showing general rotation, large rotating wall cloud. It was observed not too long ago, which is why we have this kind of pink outline within this storm showing that it was observed. So Maroa, you need to be in your storm shelter. Now, we had photos earlier, if we could get those up, from the Mechanicsburg area and even in the Springfield area, showing pretty good wall clouds as well as even some funnel clouds. And that doesn't mean, even if you have a funnel cloud, it doesn't go all the way down to the surface, doesn't mean it's not a tornado. You don't need the actual condensation funnel to go all the way down. So this is actually coming in from Laura. That's a great view. This looks like it was just near Veterans Parkway, as you can see the description. Now you can submit all your photos on our Chime-In page, and please do exactly what all these viewers are doing, telling us where it is. That's a really good look at that lowering, very close wall cloud, likely near to the surface, so that was looking north of Chatham going into the Springfield area. So if you're going to send us photos like all of these viewers, thank you for sending it to us. This is really good information, both to show you guys as well as us and in the National Weather Service when we send it to them. And it also gives you a good chance of showing all the photos. But make sure that you put your location on. So thank you, Phyllis, for sending this in. And these are just showing that wall cloud really came down towards the surface, and like I said, you don't need the condensation or the cloud to actually touch ground for it to be a tornado. You just need the winds to be spinning at the surface, and that's what we've been seeing, and it's likely what we've been seeing with most of this storm as it continues to show really broad rotation. I'm going to go back and try to put up maybe our actual our normal velocity to see if it looks any better, get any updates from the National Weather Service. We've had the tornado watch. Let me pull that up real quick because we've had some adjustments to it. Tornado watch still continues for a lot of our viewing area, but some of our counties, that includes Scott, Morgan, Menard, Cass, Mason, you are no longer in that tornado watch that goes until 8 p.m. tonight. And we only have one tornadic storm as well as only one other severe thunderstorm. But like we said earlier, this storm is still, at the moment, was confirmed. Now, one thing I'm keeping an eye on, this is just north of Decatur and Hickory Point. This cell is not super impressive, but what we could be seeing here is maybe a merger, maybe within the next hour or so. If this cell outraces and mixes into this cell, it could strengthen it. Sometimes it kills the development of a storm, but most of the time it actually upticks most of the ingredients and most of the dynamics within a supercell. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. We don't want a merger happening, as that could really start to uptick the cell as it makes its way closer and closer to DeWitt County. We're going to get a downstream warning of this cell at the moment. But yeah, really good. We've been getting a lot of reports. Can we actually pull up that one hail photo? I'm not sure, I think, if we knew exactly where it was coming from, but it showed really big hail. So this west side of Springfield, so that's over 2 inches in terms of hail. That could put a hole right through your windshield. So thank you for sending us in that photo. That's why even during a severe thunderstorm warning, especially when it comes to large hail, you want to be indoors, away from windows, because if you have a strong wind gust that push that hailstone into your window, then you have flying debris. And like I said earlier, flying debris is typically the main factor that injures or unfortunately takes people's lives in these kind of storms, as it's really hard to protect yourself unless you put a helmet on. And that's why we always say when you're in your storm shelter, bring a helmet or keep it there, especially if you have a basement. This is tornado season. We're going to have this all summer long, just days like this. So make sure that if you have that ready, that you will need it in the future. And it looks like this might be a merger happening. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, as this could increase the strength of the cell. And we have a new tornado warning, very edge of our viewing area now. And this is for the very, very northern edge of DeWitt, northeast of actual DeWitt. So this goes to Santa Ana, just in the northwest of that, and then goes into McLean County, which is on our fringe of our region. So if you know folks that are in McLean County, you need to be in your storm shelter. This is not an observed tornado like we had down here. And actually, that's probably the one thing we'll have to keep an eye on right here down towards Emory and south of Maroa, as we've been seeing. Let's see if we go back a couple scans. That could just be background noise. Does look like that's been a significant uptick in that area. So if you're near Route 51, near Emory Road in Emory, you need to be in your storm shelters. Looks like this has been seeing an uptick. I know we do get some background noise since the radar is up there in Lincoln in the very left portion of your screen, but it looks like we've been seeing a tightening of that rotation. We get a better look so you could at least see it. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. We got that rotation right there within that warning, and we've had it observed earlier. And like I said, this is probably not a tornado that's been on the ground and moving all the way across the area, staying on the ground. It's likely been going up and down as this storm has tightened really quickly, then weakened slightly, then tightened back up. And that's looked like we got another scenario here. Let me get correlation coefficient up, see if we got anything showing up in that area near Emory. Doesn't look like a whole lot, and it doesn't look like the rain's even there, so it's kind of hard to see if there's anything on the ground. We did have a video. Can we pull that up real quick? I believe this is from the Riverton area, showing that wall cloud as well as those rain curtains. We've gotten a lot of reports of a funnel cloud and maybe even a touchdown near the Riverton area earlier this afternoon. And that just goes to say, to my point earlier, this has been a scenario where it's been going up and down likely for the last hour and a half, almost 2 hours since we've been on air. And that's just the scenario we're in. And this shows that rotation within that wall cloud near the Riverton area. We just got an extension on that tornado warning. So let's go back now to our graphics. as this has now been extended. Now it's radar indicated. So this box doesn't mean, this box basically shows that that really good rotation is on the ground at the moment, not right now. But this is something that we have to keep an eye on. This is DeWitt, Macon, and now Piatt County into 4:30 p.m. And I'm going to toss it back to Darren Leeds. Darren, you've been keeping an eye on this system as well. Any new information that we need to know now that we have this warning extended out into other counties in our viewing area?
Yeah, and Matt did actually get some photos of some of those large hailstones with this same cell as it was coming out of the Latham area in far southeastern Logan County. Want to see if we can actually work to get those up on the air, just to kind of give people an idea of what is possibly going to be coming their way now that you said, like, we've got that extension going now into parts of Piatt and just kind of scraping DeWitt County with this same tornado warning. But just if we're not seeing that tornado, what they could possibly expect from some of those hailstones, because yeah, they were looking very massive, even maybe pushing closer to around 2 inches in diameter. So we're going to put those photos up on air right now, and these were coming from the Logan County Emergency Management Office, just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm referring to when I'm saying they're about 2 inches in diameter. So these just came in about 10 minutes or so ago. But yeah, take a look at these. And yes, multiple rounds of these look like they were coming through parts of northwestern Macon County and then far southeastern Logan County. But large hailstones, could even be seeing some of those flirting a little bit bigger than 2 inches or so here. But yes, we are now looking at about the end of this now tornado, confirmed tornado, and now we're getting that extension with possibly even seeing just that tornado maybe starting to kind of weaken a little bit more. If I can kind of push it over into, we'll just kind of pop that up when we jump off air here. But yes, we're still going to be on the far eastern edge of that observed tornado, and now we're getting tornado possible with our newest tornado warning that's going into northeastern Macon County, northern Piatt County. So Monticello folks, you guys are a little ways out from this right now, but I want you guys to be starting to think about getting into your tornado safe shelter. Clinton, it looks like this is past you now, and some of the worst of it was far to your south, but hopefully you guys were sheltering in place and getting to those closets, bathrooms, and even interior hallways if you don't have a basement, but basement's going to be your best spot to be. Now we're going to be looking at the next tornado warning that, like I said, is going to be going into effect right around Maroa, just outside Forsyth, just north of Cerro Gordo, and it does encompass Monticello as it makes its way over into northern Piatt County. So we've continued to stay on air here for about the last couple of hours here, but it does look like maybe this is going to be our area of concern around 72 in far northeastern Macon County. You can see this little swath of green. I'm going to zoom in here so we can maybe pinpoint a more specific location with this. But absolutely going to be looking at perhaps around the Argenta area, Newburgh Road and Cemetery Road east of Argenta is where we've got some decent rotation in with that. Doesn't look overly strong, but again, with the potential for another tornado, because we do look at tornado being possible with our newest cell that is now being issued in that exact vicinity. Now we're getting outside of our observed tornado range, and so now we're going to start talking about Willow Branch, Monticello, Sangamon over in northern Piatt County, DeLand, and even going to start to push its way into far southeastern DeWitt County. So again, Clinton, you guys are going to be in the clear at this point in time. Forsyth, you guys are good. Emory, you're probably just starting to see this cell exit. Oriana, you guys are now in the clear, but Argenta, yes, definitely have this cell kind of bearing down on you at this point in time. And again, we did have with that storm velocity right east of Argenta area, right east of Argenta Road, Cemetery Road, Dunbar Road, Newburgh Road. If you're in this general vicinity, even talking Briggs Road further off towards the east, if you are in any of these locations around Argenta, northeastern Macon County, I want you to get into your safe space right now. Let's jump back over to our radar. And so we're going to take a look at the extension of this previous tornado warning, where we did have an observed rain wrap tornado around the Latham area that was making its way over towards Maroa. And now we just have radar indicated rotation, but this coming downstream from that previous tornado warning, and now does encompass Piatt, DeWitt, and that northeastern corner of Macon County. So Oriana area, you guys should be in the clear, but again, right around Argenta, if you're just coming on air with us, this is what we've been talking about for about the last 5 minutes or so, is where we now have more rotation beginning to happen. And again, I was pinpointing that area of pretty strong rotation west of Briggs Road and east of Argenta Road, but you can kind of see inside the strongest portion of this cell right now. That was where I was seeing a very good area of rotation, but still with a tornado being possible, and with this same cell coming all the way from Sangamon County into Logan County, into Macon County, and still predominantly in Macon County at this point in time. History of producing tornadoes, we could be looking at another tornado being possible here, because we're now starting to see some pretty good rotation and some spin up happening just east of Argenta. And again, going to be talking about now Piatt County and southeastern DeWitt County. You guys are going to be wanting to get into your safe space at this point in time. So again, Monticello area, if you're north of Interstate 72 in Piatt County, southeastern DeWitt County. Again, if you're north and east of Argenta, and I'm going to work on getting us some cross streets here in just a second, but this is where we've got this kind of pinpointed at this point in time, the strongest, most dangerous portion of this cell. And it does look like it is kind of riding just west of Interstate 72, but kind of extending closer to Newburgh Road. East of Argenta is where we are picking up on some good areas of rotation, where we might be seeing another tornado possible spin up here happening very soon. So let's jump back over. I'm going to try and check our National Weather Service chat and just see if we have any new information. But definitely with this same cell historically, we've been seeing some pretty impressive hail. We showed you those pictures coming from Logan County Emergency Management, and some very large hail coming in with that. Also, that was back around the Latham area. But now we're seeing this cell continuing to progress its way further over towards the northeast and east. And so let's take a look at where we're seeing some pretty decent spin. This is going to be my area in question right now, and it's going to be north of Newburgh Road, west of State Highway 32, now pushing its way into northern Piatt County. Willow Branch, Monticello, I want you guys to get into your tornado safe shelter right now. This is going to be our area of rotation. We're getting a decent amount of some hooking happening north of Newburgh Road, and talking east 1300 North Road, now over into Piatt County, but kind of that eastern extension of Newburgh Road, going from Macon County and over into Piatt County, just west of Willow Branch area. This is where we're seeing still some very good rotation beginning to happen. Let's jump back over to our radar here in just a second, and we'll get some new locations where we're going to throw a tracker on this, as we still do have that system making its way northeast, picking up some speed. We had it traditionally at 35 miles per hour, but now we're seeing it a little bit closer to about 40 miles per hour. But this is 8 miles south of the Clinton area and just east of Argenta. So let's throw this back around 40 miles per hour, northeasterly movement. So we're still going to kind of keep that same traditional track with this. D-land at 433, so in about 25 minutes or so. Lodge at 441. We're going to continue to see this cell make its way through, and with a history of producing tornadoes, want everybody to be in their safe space. Monticello could just kind of scrape to the north side of you, but I want you guys to be in your tornado safe shelter as well. This cell making its way north of Interstate 72 right now. And again, we're going to be starting to talk about parts of northern Piatt County, and then eventually it does look like it's going to be kind of eyeballing over around the Champaign area. Right now, this is our only current tornado warning in effect. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect right now just southeast of Bloomington, and that is around McLean and parts of far northern DeWitt County. But our big focus remains with a tornado warning, and with tornadoes being a history of this same exact cell that we've seen come from far west as Morgan County throughout Sangamon County, and with tornadoes being, we've seen about 2 tornadoes reported with this cell around Springfield and then again around Latham and over into northwestern Macon County. We're going to want to be tornado aware out there for the rest of the afternoon, and until we start to see more of these tornado watches and tornado warnings begin to die off. I'm going to hand things back over to meteorologist Matt Bednar, who is joining me now. And Matt, what have you got for us with the latest on this?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the one thing I'm keeping an eye on is what we call a merger. It's where 2 cells start to merge together, and typically that strengthens pretty much all aspects of a thunderstorm, and that's what we've been seeing. It looks like the storm is almost passed off its rotation from the storm earlier that was producing the tornadoes, which was right here. But this cell is what we're keeping an eye on near Friends Creek and then the Willow Branch, as it's been seeing its rotation. So as it continues to make that north-northeast path, if these 2 cells, these 2 kind of purple dots kind of merge together, it could strengthen the storm. Now, one good news is it's starting to get to the fringe of our viewing area, all the way up into, DeWitt County, and eventually it'll get out of our area. Well, that's the one good news. The other thing, though, unfortunately, is that there's still, at least there was, good rotation. Let's go back to our velocity here. It doesn't look super impressive at the moment. It's kind of even hard to determine where this rotation is. Let's go back to our regular velocity. It's not super impressive currently. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. I would say the best rotation area looks like it's going to be between Friends Creek and Willow Branch, probably even getting closer to the northwestern portion of Willow Branch, and that looks like it's going into Piatt County now. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. But let's go back and just kind of look at this storm over the last few hours. It went from all the way in portions of Morgan County. Try to get this back the last 3 hours or so, 4 hours. This storm formed well down by Jacksonville. Then we had it move, and then another cell developed south of it, going through the Springfield area, going through Riverton, where we got reports of a tornado, and then all the way up to the Latham area, where we got another report of tornadoes and funnels clouds. And now it's all the way back out into our almost our triple point between Macon, DeWitt, and Piatt County. So people in Nixon, you still need to be in your storm shelter. Even Sangamon, that's the city of Sangamon, not Sangamon County. A little bit of confusion there, where we have a county named after a city that has the same name as a county that's not in that county. So Sangamon, the city of Sangamon, you need to be in your storm shelter. Looks like these cells are getting closer and closer to a merger. And like I said, that could strengthen storms. Going back to our velocity scan, hasn't been super impressive at the moment. It looks like the best area of rotation would be along or either on the north or southern side of the I-72 corridor, probably even closer to Willow Branch. It's not super impressive, but the system has had reports of, confirmed tornadoes earlier in the day, around 2 hours ago, near the Springfield area, near Riverton, near Latham, and you only need a couple minutes. And like I said earlier, we've been on air for around 2.5 hours now. You could have a tornado still form and touch down between our radar scans. They come in around every 5 minutes or so. So that time in between is still enough. And I would say it's probably right around Willow Branch that we're keeping an eye on. We haven't gotten any real other indicator. We got reports of maybe some rotation near Mansfield. Let's see if we could get that up real quick. Give me 1 second. Mansfield. That is all the way out. All the way out in, I believe, north of here. So yeah, so that might even been out of the box, but that's I haven't seen that talked about from the National Weather Service yet. So that was coming in from a report coming in. But right now, I would say the best area of rotation is going to be probably where this storm is. You can kind of see a hook motion. It's almost better to see it now just on base reflectivity. So we got that downward protrusion going south, and then you spin up. So I would say it's probably still right along I-72. So if you know anyone who's traveling on I-72, it's getting close to commute now. Anywhere between Friends Creek to Willow Branch, you need to be off the roads. And if you are hearing anyone, if you're driving, if you know someone driving, the best thing you could do, pull off to the side, go into a ditch if there's no buildings nearby. Don't go under overpasses. That is a horrible way, a horrible spot to be in, because when those winds come through, they act like a wind tunnel, and they accelerate the winds under those overpasses. So don't be in an overpass. Trying to get good view right now coming in from Piatt County. Looks like emergency management showing a video. Darren, if you're listening right now, if there's any way we could get that video sent to our control room. Looks like it's showing a pretty good, either a funnel or really low wall cloud. And I don't know, just over Cisco. So let's get that pulled up for everyone. Cisco, I'm not sure how long ago that was as well. So that's going to be, Cisco will be, I think it's just north of the Willow Branch area. Yeah, there's Cisco. So yeah, perfect. Pretty much right where we're seeing that kind of hooking motion. I'm going to go back on the wall here in just a second. So typically when we have this is a supercell. So we have this southerly turn, a hook, like a fishing hook. And we've been getting reports of, it looks like a funnel cloud for our directors. That was on our NWS chat. So Darren, if you're able to send that video to the control room, that would be great, showing a good funnel cloud. But I would say right here, just south of the I-70 corridor, I-70 path in Cisco, this is where we're seeing a funnel cloud or a really low wall cloud at the moment. It's not super impressive on velocity, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some kind of spin. Like I said, every 5 minutes or so we get a new radar scan in. So once we get that new radar scan, I'll put back up velocity. So I would say this area right here, and it looks like it's moving just to the northeast, maybe even northeast. You need to be in your storm shelter. Cisco, you need to be in your storm shelter. If you're anywhere in this warning still, we've been seeing a lot of funnel clouds. And like I said, if you see a funnel cloud, it could be on the ground. You don't need that condensation funnel to touch down to be a confirmed tornado. You just need to have the winds near the surface, and then they start to pick up that dust. So that's the scenario we're in right now. We're seeing that hooking motion near this area, and a lowering, at least if not a funnel cloud in the Cisco area. See if we get that. And we just got a new warning issued. It's not a confirmed warning, because if it was confirmed, it would turn up purple. We have our graphic set up like that, and this looks like it's expanded. So this goes all the way out in still DeWitt and Piatt County. Macon County, you're in the clear. Just looking back, I know we got some rain in Springfield not too long ago, nothing severe within those cells. But we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, we actually have a confirmed tornado now in the Ford Iroquois County area. Let's get the velocity on that. That has spun up really quickly. Yes, so very much so. So Paxton, this is what we were talking earlier, that one cell that was in the Rantoul where we had reports of funnel clouds. They've now went right into a confirmed tornado on the ground near Paxton, Loda. This is going pretty much north-northeast into Iroquois County. So this is getting all the way into our very northwestern portion of our viewing area. This is actually, I believe, in the National Weather Service office of Chicago's coverage zone. So we'll have to start looking at the information coming from them. So tornado warning, this one is observed. This is going for the next 30 minutes or so. This is pretty far away from the radar in Lincoln. You can actually see that we're getting that scan from the radar all the way out in Joliet in the Chicagoland area. So Paxton, you need to be in your storm shelter. New velocity scans keep showing in that this rotation's pretty much right on the western side of the I-57 corridor in our very kind of northeastern portion of. Okay, we got Piatt County video here. Let's pull it up. This was from the Cisco area, so that was back. Let's see if I get that. So that's our really low wall cloud, if not funnel cloud, and you can see this is likely still producing winds near the surface. So this could be almost a confirmed tornado from that cell. So that's the scenario that we're in right now. We still got that rotation. The latest scan still shows really good spin. So yeah, that's what we've been observing. That's coming from the emergency management in Piatt County. So that's coming from our emergency officials out there. So that's why you need to be in your storm shelter. That's popping up really quickly every couple minutes or so. It tightens up in the rotation. So going back onto our velocity scan, let's get our storm velocity back up. So still not super impressive on our velocity scan, but that doesn't mean that we still aren't seeing at least some rotation. And I would say it's right here. This is the one part got to keep an eye on. Even though these aren't green, they are still red, showing that we still have a good amount of spin. And, Darren, we have, another confirmed tornado on the ground. This is probably our third or maybe even fourth of the day, in a different cell near the Paxton area. What else have you been seeing about this storm now that it's confirmed and moving all the way into our very northeastern portion of our viewing area and even getting into the National Weather Service Chicagoland coverage zone?
Yeah, Matt, and now that you just said that, we did have those reports of a confirmed tornado on the ground. It literally just updated as you were throwing it over to me here now. Radar indicated we have been seeing those hail sizes kind of drop off and then pick back up again. We had hail reports with this confirmed cell at about 1 inch in diameter. Now they've kind of upped that, but they've taken away that observation, and it looks like that tornado has since just kind of lifted. But with this cell that was kind of coming in along Interstate 57, definitely hoping people are either avoiding travel right now, going either northbound or southbound from, say, the Kankakee area. I know that's kind of just very far outskirts of our viewing area here, but this is going to be the pretty much exact location where we are currently seeing that tornado track, and with that highest area of rotation is west on Interstate 57, pretty much just west of the Paxton area, kind of north, but that's where these tornadoes are kind of tracking here this afternoon, and where we've kind of traditionally seen them begin to track is they've been going from kind of southwest to northeast, and now this one almost kind of going due north purely along Interstate 57, but can be very dangerous. Matt, as you were saying, those highway overpasses absolutely are not substantial shelters. You might think they might be a good place to kind of pull over, but they are not. It might act as a good kind of shield for your car if you're dealing with a lot of that large hail and kind of preventing damage from happening to your vehicle. Sure, that might be true, but those overpasses are a wind funnel. If you go underneath them, those winds are amplified going under and over top of those, so they can easily just suck you out, or if you happen to be hunkered down to something, you're going to be susceptible to any kind of flying debris that's being channeled underneath those overpasses as well. If it's going to be a street sign or a 2x4 coming through, yeah, you're then a target for projectile debris that's coming through that area. So again, avoid overpasses, pull over somewhere pretty far from where we're seeing that area of rotation, and just lie down in a ditch. That might sound crazy, but again, your most common injury is going to probably come from flying debris and not being, say, sucked up into a tornado. But the lower you kind of put your body, you're going to avoid any kind of direct contact. Hopefully that debris can kind of flow right over you, especially if you do happen to get into a drainage ditch or something, say, on the side of those interstates or those highways. But definitely still looking at a pretty good area of rotation coming in along with that cell as well. And again, we're going to jump back over to our radar product here. And I kind of wanted to see if we did happen to get maybe another observation coming with that. But it does look like we're going back to radar indicated rotation. And like I was kind of showing you, it's right along Interstate 57 around Ford, Iroquois County, just around the Paxton area, and continuing to make its way further off towards the north. Let's jump back over to our other tornado warning, if we do still have that currently going in effect right now. And yes, it does look like we still do, just north of Monticello, and also looking at radar indicated rotation. So that's good. No confirmed tornado with that cell, but hail sizes definitely still staying very large with this cell traditionally. And we've been seeing them even in excess of about 2 inches or so coming in, even just as far back as, say, Jacksonville and Springfield, but we've kind of seen those hail sizes drop off and return once again. But we had that photo coming in from emergency management in Logan County from the Latham area, where we also had a confirmed tornado that was rain wrapped, and those easily around 2 inches or so in diameter. But yes, we did also have that video of the funnel cloud coming in from Piatt County Emergency Management. I want to see if we could take another look at that and try and see if we can kind of try and maybe even pinpoint a little bit of a location. But looking at our velocity scans with this one, and again, it does still look like north of Interstate 72, just north of the Monticello area, but beginning to kind of track towards D-Land and Sangamon, and maybe even talking about Mahomet if we continue to see this progress to the northeast, closer into far northwestern Champaign County. But that's going to probably be another area of concern. But these tornadoes continue to kind of spin up, weaken, and then re-amplify once again. So we could also be maybe looking at another tornado warning, but we've kind of been tracking several out there that have traditionally come from this same exact cell over the course of about the last couple of hours. Everything's kind of been a little bit of a blur here, but yes, we're still just getting radar indicated rotation. So again, that's a good sign. We don't have anything observed from either storm spotters or from any kind of emergency management. Let's go ahead and take a look out of my tower cam here at the station right now, and just trying to kind of look out further to the north and further to the west right now, and just kind of see what exactly we are seeing right now. And it does still kind of look like we're mostly just seeing a lot of cloud cover coming in and around the Champaign area, but just kind of looking at what we've got starting to kind of push through Champaign at this point in time. Yes, we're on the outskirts of another kind of severe thunderstorm warning, and it does look like this has kind of been strengthening up as it's made its way from south further up towards the north. But right now, no severe tag coming in with this one right now. But definitely you can kind of see some very impressive rainfall out there in the distance, and probably also going to be trying to kind of pinpoint some of those areas where we might be seeing this cell over around Piatt County, because it does look like right now, I think we're looking out at the west, if I can kind of see that coming out of my peripherals here. But still, radar indicated rotation, once again, our velocity scans are going to continue to show that this is north of Monticello and actually starting to show kind of signs of beginning to weaken up a little bit more. Was looking a little bit larger just a few minutes ago, but now definitely this little gray area in here is what I'm kind of been keeping my focus on as far as what we might be seeing as far as that rotation goes. I want to get my draw tool out though if I happen to be able to. There we go. And so again, this area right in here, and it still looks like it is kind of just falling off a little bit more, but just south of the Sangamon and north of Monticello, but right along Interstate 72. So if you are traveling or thinking about doing some traveling, I would hold off for a little bit longer. I know some folks still are at work for maybe about the next hour to half an hour or so, but again, want to wait until these storms really start to die off a little bit more, until we start to see these tornado watches begin to expire before we start to think about heading home, or, you know, maybe going out to grab some dinner or something like that if you happen to be done with work for the day at this point in time. Let's jump back over to our radar, and again, still just seeing indicated on radar indicated rotation, excuse me, but I want to see if I can maybe get another update from our National Weather Service chat or National Weather Service updates that get fed into our weather computers here at the station, and just see if they have anything new to pass along. So latest update was at 4:13. With our information that's coming into our weather computers. But it does look like with that latest update, these storm cells kind of slowing down once again. We had it even as strong as about 40 miles per hour. Now it does look like it's kind of slowing back down to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. Let's jump back over to that other tornado warned cell. And still it is holding at radar indicated rotation at this point in time. Let's see if we can get some more info on this one as well. So again, we're seeing those hailstones kind of remain between about 1 inch to 2 inches out there. So absolutely can do some damage to vehicles. If you're caught outside and not in some sort of substantial shelter, absolutely can do some damage to your body itself, whether it's going to hit you in the head or just kind of pelt you. But yes, you want to be inside. You want to be in the most interior part of your home or your business. Again, if you're still at work at this point in time, I know we're just around 4:30 in the afternoon here. But again, avoid windows, because with the winds, they can absolutely whip either debris, or some of those hailstones can break some glass, break some windows, and can do some damage, because that is where we see a number of injuries happening in storms like that. Actually, let's go back over to our Champaign County tower cam, because now that I'm seeing a little bit closer of a picture with this, it does look like we've got a pretty good wall cloud kind of forming west of the city of Champaign, and that would kind of be over there along Interstate 72. But taking a look at this, if we can get it pulled up, can we pull it up full screen by any chance? Zach, can we do that real quick? Thank you so much. And so here, put me up on screen real quick if we can do that also. And then put the tower cam behind me. Is that possible? I just want to talk. Let's take a look at that. Maybe we can't get that done. Anyways, so yeah, it doesn't look like we're able to do that. That's all right. Anyway, it does look like we're not seeing any kind of funnel descending from that wall cloud itself, but definitely the presence of a wall cloud, which would kind of lend to tornadoes being possible. We're getting that rotation, and so with these storms having that history of producing tornadoes, that wall cloud is kind of already primed and ready to go. So if we do happen to maybe start to see a funnel descend from that wall cloud itself, then that could be a good indicator that maybe we're going to get another tornado confirmation coming in with that cell. I'm going to throw things back over to meteorologist Matt Bednar, who's been tag teaming things with me this afternoon. Matt, greatly appreciate you coming in to assist me this afternoon. But are you seeing anything new that maybe I'm not picking up on, or anything new? I wasn't able to get a check of the National Weather Service chat. I was kind of just seeing our information that was coming in for the computers.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on our chat on my computer right next to me. Haven't been getting really a whole lot of new information from them yet. What I can say is that I would say the main concern for our viewing area will be probably near the Champaign, if not north of Champaign, as most of these storms are in a really unorganized but strong cluster of cells. I would say the most concerning storm at the moment is probably the one all the way up in Ford and Iroquois County, as that still has really good rotation, and that's really impressive right now. So this is for Ford and Iroquois County. That goes into 4:45 p.m. So another 45 minutes. I'm going to take a quick look at the National Weather Service office in Chicago's chat and see if they've been saying anything else. Loda, you need to be in your storm shelter, as this is a very strong storm, likely probably a funnel cloud or two, and this will continue to go to our north, pretty much almost dead north. Now this storm is moving in that direction, so this will be going all the way up to Clifton in the next hour or so. So this is, if you're in the path of the storm, I know it's our very northeastern portion of our viewing area, and I apologize to all of our viewers in Springfield, but this is still in the area that we need to keep an eye on. So this is a storm that's it had produced a tornado near Paxton, and there's been reports of a lot of rotation, and the National Weather Service office in Chicago is definitely keeping a really good eye on it. They're saying this is pretty impressive rotation at the moment. I don't think we could be able to get our we have a video of funnel cloud, no given location here of, yeah, a very impressive funnel cloud coming up. And if you're sending us photos or videos or anything of sort, please make sure you put your location on, because this not only helps us be able to tell you guys, but also when we send all this information, once we're done covering all this stuff, to the National Weather Service, so they could help try to confirm. Because even if there's a funnel cloud, like I said, throughout the last 2 hours, you don't necessarily need the condensation or the cloud to go all the way down to the surface for it to be a confirmed tornado. You just have to have those winds spinning at the surface, and that's likely what we're probably seeing with most of these funnel clouds. They're very low. Now I want to go back to our velocity here, because I got some good news. It looks like they have canceled or let the one tornado warning that was in Piatt County expire or canceled. So still seeing some rotation. This still has a considerable tag, this severe thunderstorm warning, that goes and extends all the way out to the Rantoul area. So big severe thunderstorm box. See if I could get that one to pop up here. Excuse me. But yeah, it still has a tornado possible tag. So this is still a scenario where you got to keep a close eye all the way out to Rantoul. Pretty much everyone along I-72 near Piatt, all the way into Champaign and north of I-74, you need to be keeping a close eye on all these storms. That's where we're seeing probably the best potential for any of these storms getting warned. So there's definitely some rotation within all of these cells. See if we get it better on here. And the more discrete cells usually have the best chance. So maybe even north of St. Joseph. This cell looks pretty good, but it has a severe thunderstorm warning to 5:15 p.m. And we do have still that tornado warning all the way up in Ford and Iroquois County that goes into 4:45. So we'll see if Chicago continues to keep this warn. I would guess they would, just based on how impressive the velocity scan. I need to save this closer to that area. Now it's going to flip to Chicago. So I actually made almost an easterly turn. So you can see how close we are between the two viewing areas as they switch between those two radars. So this is the Chicago radar showing it almost moving east now. So that is something we're keeping an eye on. So it's moving right on that border of Ford and Iroquois County, just southeast of Loida. So if you're in Loida and even getting into the Pigeon Grove area, you need to be in your storm shelter. Lowest place in your building. Most windows, walls between you and outdoors as possible. And this is probably our strongest storm at the moment. And you can see it's very far away from the radar all the way up in Joliet. So this is showing pretty good rotation from that far away. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be issuing another tornado warning on that cell. Going back to the rest of our area, that one tornado warning that was for DeWitt and Piatt County has either been canceled or expired, and that's looking like the scenario we're in right now. Getting reports of lowering showing up east, northeast of Champaign. So yeah, that's probably the Stanton area, just east, northeast of Somer. Hope I'm saying that correctly, all the way up to Compromise. I would say keep an eye on all these cells. I believe all of these severe thunderstorm warnings probably they don't have a tornado possible tag, but we have been seeing a good amount of rotation, those reds and greens next to each other. So that's the scenario we're in. Still getting these severe thunderstorm warnings, still an evolving situation. Let's go back to our reflectivity, showing these cluster of cells, pretty much everyone within the northern Champaign, portions of Vermilion, going all the way up into Ford and Iroquois County. You're in either a severe thunderstorm warning or this tornado warning that's in the Loida area. Let's go back to our velocity, showing that maybe it has that little bit of a hook motion pushing it back towards the east. So here's a video coming in. Do we know the location of this video, where it's coming from? Near West Washington, of showing some hail coming down outside. Looks like that's probably right around probably nickel up to maybe quarter size hail, so that's severe hail, and a lot of it coming down. Almost looks like it's snow for how much is on the surface. So yeah, please send us all these videos. We love to show them on air. Then we can send that to the National Weather Service to get a lot of things confirmed. So you have these videos, send it to us. But please make sure you put your location on where it's at. Otherwise, it's hard to talk about a funnel cloud if we don't know where it's at. I'm still keeping an eye on that one cell that was tornado warned earlier. It still shows pretty broad, but still some rotation, as this does have a tornado possible tag, I believe, for this cell, this warning that goes all the way out to Rantoul. It's kind of hard to get our system to pinpoint it because it's all the warnings. So this is a considerable tag. Very large hail reported, near almost 2 inches in diameter. And we still got that tornado warned storm all the way up in near the Loida area. So waiting for that next scan to come in to show maybe if it's increased or decreased in its strength. But I'm actually gonna put this on a loop. See, that loop looks pretty good. Yeah, there we go. That's a good loop. So it was moving near the Paxton area, and we had it actually confirmed earlier near the Paxton area, but now it's making that easterly track, so it's occluding a little bit. It's moving towards the east, so Pigeon Grove, I would say you need to be ready just in case this warning gets extended all the way up to Ash Grove. I'm not sure exactly what route this is. It's kind of hard to see right now, but if you're in the Iroquois County area, you need to be in your storm shelter. This is a very interesting storm that's had history of producing a tornado. It's a different cell, not the other cell that moved through the Springfield area, but it's still a cell that's had the history. Now it's moving pretty much dead to the east. So we'll get that new scan in here probably in the next minute or so to see if it's continuing that easterly track. And that spin is still really, really impressive, especially for how far away from the radar is. It's all the way up in Joliet, so the southwestern suburbs of Chicago, and that radar is just on the cusp of both the Lincoln and Chicagoland area. So that's what really impressive for how far away it is. So definitely could be seeing a funnel cloud with this system. Probably are seeing some kind of reports earlier that this did touch down near the Paxton, I believe, airport it was. I'm gonna look at the Chicago page, see if they've been giving us any more information, if they're going to warn us anymore. Iroquois County. You gotta keep an eye on also some places, the rainfall. We've been getting reports of maybe some places getting see, there's that warning, and it moved in a very, this is why, like, when you're in these cells and near these warnings, you need to keep an eye on, because a cell could push off to the east, northeast, south, not typically towards the southwest, but could move in a sporadic direction. So now we got the Pigeon Grove area. You're in that warning until now 5:30 p.m. So we got another 50 minutes or so with this warning. And this goes all the way almost to Hickman, and then Fountain Creek, Ash Grove. So you need to be in your storm shelter. And this is route, I believe, 49 that this is going to pretty much go right over within the next 10 minutes or so. Let me see if I can get the speed on this storm so I could track this out for you guys. Right now, it's still radar indicated, which is good. Anyone in that area that's also in a mobile home, you need to be in your storm. This is a slow moving storm, 20 miles per hour. So let me adjust our cone here and then get that back up for you guys. So our cone going all the way out. So if you're in Pigeon Grove, this could be in your area in the next 10 minutes. Ash Grove, within the next 30 minutes, all the way out to Hickory Grove, way down the road. So this is an evolving situation. Keep an eye on all the storms. This is in our very fringe of our viewing area. I'm going to toss it back over to Darren here in just a second. That's our only warned tornado storm. We still got some rotation within all of these cells. Darren, have you been seeing anything else that's impressive? We got even some of that place near, it looks like south of St. Joseph that might even be spinning a little bit.
Yeah, nothing else that's too impressive, but definitely just kind of the dynamics of this cell. We were seeing that northerly track earlier, and that's where we still have that single tornado warning. But now with that same cell, it looks like it's starting to kind of just change directions entirely. It was going south to north. Now we're going west to east. So that to me is kind of interesting. It would tell me that maybe that cold front is starting to kind of push its way in and just kind of force it due east and over into western Indiana at this point in time. But I'd say that's probably the one thing that I will say is interesting about this same cell. Still radar indicated, so we're picking up on that rotation, and you can essentially see exactly where that is, whether we're sitting here on this Lincoln radar or kind of shifting over into Chicago. But definitely a pretty good idea just west of Pigeon Grove, where we're kind of getting that green sitting in between a lot of that gray. And now that we're seeing that pretty much pure eastward movement, Pigeon Grove, yeah, if you guys aren't in your safe place right now, you need to be getting into your safe place right now, because this storm is coming your way. Again, it has a history of producing tornadoes. We've actually seen, I want to say 4 or 5 confirmed tornadoes out there this afternoon, pretty much as soon as we started our coverage this afternoon, closer to about 2. And we did have that confirmed tornado coming through the Springfield area. But definitely with this thing now starting to push its way, it looks like right into town at this point in time, then yes, hopefully you're already in your safe place right now. Just kind of taking a look at what we've seen as far as our reports go. We have seen, yeah, that tornado report, and then also that funnel cloud report coming in around the Paxton area, but no new reports now that we saw that northerly movement kind of halt, and now that easterly movement beginning to go into parts of Iroquois County. And so, yeah, Pigeon Grove pretty much right in the bullseye of where this is currently starting to make its way through right now. If we could switch back over to our velocity mode, but that is exactly what I am currently seeing. Let's go back over to our draw mode, and still, yeah, we had that northerly track happening, and now we're getting this pure easterly track. And so very kind of interesting. You don't really see tornadoes or storms just kind of completely change up their directional movement like that. But I will say now it does look like even east of Paxton, we're kind of seeing a little bit of some rotation happen right along there, and now starting to kind of see a little bit more of that rotation kind of spreading a little bit around the Pigeon Grove area. But it does look like we've kind of got those 2 areas of rotation coming in and along with this one cell right now, and maybe just kind of picking up on maybe an outflow boundary coming in with that cell. But yes, we are still just looking at pure radar indicated rotation at this point in time. Doesn't look like we have anything new confirmed. And now hail sizes actually kind of starting to fall off right now as well. We were getting just a second ago with our previous warning, you can see our hail sizes about 1 3/4 inches, which puts it a little bit bigger than about a golf ball or ping pong ball size in diameter. And now with our newer warning, which is again an extension of that previous warning, our hail size now falling off to about an inch in diameter, so showing signs of weakening, and that is a good thing. We do still have some of our tornado watches in effect until 8 p.m. and actually wanted to get a recent check on those and what we might be seeing as far as some kind of cancellation. It does look like for our far western counties, so over around Morgan County, Scott County, Cass County, and even Menard County, Mason County also kind of, I'm going to throw you in there as well. Our far western counties west of Interstate 55, they have allowed those tornado watches to expire. Actually kind of surprised we're not seeing more of our tornado watches expire at this point in time, because you can see all that activity is now kind of focused in and around Interstate 57, Interstate 74 corridor areas and everywhere to the north, but pretty much everywhere south of 72, we're now in the clear. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any more development happening over the course of the next several hours or throughout the remainder of our evening here. But yes, once we kind of start to see these next couple of cells begin to make their way out of our respective viewing area, or even weakening enough where they just drop off entirely of being tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings, then we should just be looking at calm conditions going throughout the rest of the evening, and really as we're going throughout the rest of our forecast for the rest of our work week here. So let's just jump back over into our camera mode, and we are going to just take another look at what we're currently seeing with those cells at this point in time. So we did have that previous tornado warning expire. They just allowed it to get canceled, but this again an extension from that previous warning, where now we're just getting that pure easterly flow with that storm cell itself. So again, east of the Loda area, Cissna Park, and like we were talking about earlier, Pigeon Grove also pretty much right in the path of what we're seeing right now. But now we're starting to also see that we're between our radar sites. So we're kind of jumping between Lincoln and Chicago. But yes, it does look like east of Loda, east of Interstate 57, very southern edge of Iroquois County is where we do still currently have that tornado warning in effect. And it does go until 5:30 this evening. So a little bit less than an hour or so. We're at 4:47 on our clock right now. So we still got a little bit of some time. But yes, these cells have been slowing down. They've been weakening. Hail sizes have been dropping off. Our rotation area has also kind of been shrinking a little bit in size. We were seeing kind of broad areas of rotation with our last couple of cells, with that one tornado warning that just expired for the Piatt County area, and that was coming through parts of Macon, DeWitt, Logan, and that historically came from Sangamon and Morgan counties. But now, yes, it does look like now we've got a new tornado warning. I'm going to jump off and see what we've got with this one. So this is going to be for Champaign and Vermilion County. Let's take a big look at that. So this one looks like it's kind of centered in and around the Ogden area right now. You can see that shade of white right over Ogden and Interstate 74 there. But still radar indicated rotation, so capable of producing a tornado. Located over the Ogden area, it is 12 miles east of Urbana, and it is moving northeasterly at 35 miles per hour. Golf ball size hail, so that's where we get 1.75 inch diameter. And again, that is enough to do a lot of damage just in itself. Also couple in some of those strong winds that we've kind of been seeing coming in with these cells. But it does also appear that some of those winds have kind of begun to fall off a little bit here recently. But now still it does look like north of 74 is where all the activity is happening right now. So let's take a look at that. So right around Ogden, like we were saying, here's going to be our area of rotation. And I apologize, that's a little bit larger than it needs to be, but pretty much centered right over Market Street in eastern Champaign County. And then County Road 2700 East that runs north and south. So this one also, like we said, with that northeasterly movement, is quickly going to be pushing over into Vermilion County in the next several minutes. And again, this one also looks like it's kind of moving on the quicker side of things as it's still continuing around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So with that movement, it does look like we'd be seeing Potomac in its path, but likely is not going to be impacting the city of Danville, and it's not going to be continuing along Interstate 74. So let's track it at 40 miles per hour right now. And so Armstrong, it looks like you guys are going to be in its path probably closer to the time that it is going to be close to expiring, a little bit closer to around 5:30. But we do still have this in effect until 5:30 right now. So again, our most recent tornado warning just coming in for Champaign and Vermilion County. So if you're just joining us right now, again, that's going to continue to go northeast. So should avoid Danville, but Danville, you also may be looking at maybe some severe thunderstorms or even sub-severe thunderstorms that are going to be coming through here. Matt, also, are you seeing these storm cells kind of weakening as the evening is continuing here? It really doesn't seem like they have as much dynamics as what we were seeing even just an hour or 2 hours ago.
Yeah, at this point in our viewing area, we're so far away from the radar that sometimes it's hard to get a good reading of how strong or the storms are weakening. But there has been a couple things. We have seen that uptick near the Ogden area, hence why the warning came up. This was from a couple minutes ago, and you can see just north of Ogden on Market Street, on North Market Street, there was a pretty good uptick in the velocity not too long ago, but the most recent scans have definitely seen it weakening a little bit. Still, like I said, it's very far away from the radar, so it's kind of hard to determine, and things could change really quickly just between those 5-minute scans that we've been saying throughout the whole afternoon. But there's some of our towns in the path of this storm eventually will be all the way up to Hoopeston. So Rossville, Hoopeston, South Ross, you need to be in Middle Fork. You all need to be ready to go into your storm shelter, if not in there already. And not too long ago, this was the rotation I was a little bit eyeing south of St. Joseph that is, definitely intensified within those last couple of minutes. And now it even looks like the most recent scan has it upticking again. So this is the same thing that we've been seeing all day long with all of our storms. Even though there's been a couple scans within the radar that have had it go down and then back up, we've seen a lot of reports of funnel clouds. We got some funnel clouds near Gifford, and now we have likely reports. We had a lot of good photos coming in from earlier in the day, but right now this is continuing that northeasterly track into Vermilion County, and this goes into the next 40 minutes or so. And it's moving relatively fast, not as fast as we've seen some storms in the past do, but this is moving quick, and this is a large box. So if you're in Vermilion County, not the Danville area, this is not affecting Danville, but even all the way up to Hoopeston, we do have you in the warning box. So you need to be getting ready to go to your storm shelter. So we have this couplet, and for how far away it is from the radar, it's probably 120 miles, maybe probably 120 miles away. That is pretty impressive for how high up. This is probably reading around 5,000, maybe 6,000 feet up. So good rotation within this storm, hence why we have the tornado warning going effect for the next half hour or so. It's not confirmed, but it could be confirmed. It's still showing really good rotation, and was showing good rotation like 5-6 minutes ago just north of Ogden. So keeping an eye on this cell. Now we do have photos coming in earlier from Chatham. Now this is a long time ago, almost 2 hours ago, showing that really impressive, looks like a funnel cloud. And you can see it almost getting all the way to the surface. And like I've been saying, all throughout the afternoon. It does not need to be showing that condensation, the actual cloud reaching all the way to the surface, as that is, it doesn't, they just need the winds near the ground. So been seeing those, a lot of impressive photos. Thank you everyone for sending it in. You guys have been a part of our coverage for sending all these photos in, so we really do appreciate it. But still got this warning going on now, and as well all the way up to the Iroquois County area, but doesn't look nearly as impressive. But I would say, especially with some of our some viewing spots like Hoopeston and Rossville, you need to be keeping an eye on the storm, as it's still showing pretty good good rotation at the moment, especially for how far away it is. It's also been producing hailstones, almost up to 2 inches in size. A lot of viewers have been sending us hail videos, or just hails on their palm. Very large hail within all these storms. And that's really the only activity right now, still all the way up into our northeastern portion of our viewing area. So yeah, apologize to all of our Springfield folks, but we got all the activity in Springfield earlier. Now it's all the way out towards Champaign, north of the Danville area, Hoopeston. So we got to keep an eye on these storms probably for the next half hour or so before they move out of our viewing area, and then we could go back into all of our normal programming and our newscast that comes up here in the next 5 minutes or so. But still showing a pretty impressive storm out towards now into Vermilion County. The rotation is just on the western side of, looks like, Illinois Route 49, pretty much to the northeast. We have photos coming in from Athens now, from earlier in the day. We're going to be showing all these photos pretty much all day long. We could pull those up real quick. Yeah, showing a really impressive small wall cloud, but then you got that funnel coming out. So thank you for sending us in, Maya. Really appreciate it. All of you guys could do is send us these photos after the storm has passed. We don't want you taking it during it. So if you're in the Vermilion County area, don't send us those photos yet. Wait until you're out of the warning at the moment. But this warning still goes for another half an hour or so. 5:30 goes all the way up to Rossville, then the Hoopeston area, and then we'd eventually get into Indiana once it gets out of Vermilion County. So still, the scenario we're in right now is showing good rotation. Not as impressive as it was maybe, was this at 4:49, so 7 minutes ago, but then it went, and still showing pretty good rotation, up and down strength. So definitely could have seen maybe a quick spin up within the cell. It's not confirmed, but for how far away from it is from the radar, it's something that's still quite impressive. Let's get a tracker on this. Actually, let me figure out how fast this storm is moving. Right now for you guys, it is moving 35 miles per hour to the northeast, and that's the scenario we've been keeping an eye on. So going to the northeast, this would get into the Hoopeston area closer. Let me change those speeds real quick and redo it. 35 miles per hour. All right, to the northeast. That would be in the Hoopeston area at the end of this warning. So that would be 5:38. So keep an eye on the storm at the moment. Still pretty good distance away. Middle Fork, even the Rossville area, you guys got to be keeping an eye on the system. It's probably 10-15 minutes away from you now. Let's see if we get our different velocity scan. I believe this is storm relative. So just general velocity showing actually almost small area, but still have some of those deeper or lighter shades of blue showing stronger winds now just on the eastern side of Illinois Route 49, going close to 500 East Road in Vermilion County. That is near northwest of the Brothers area. It's also going towards Jamesburg. So we are keeping an eye on it, as that cell still showing pretty good rotation here in Vermilion County, and you can even get those darker colors now on our storm relative velocity. So it's showing good rotation at the moment. We also got other pockets of rotation between Compromise and Royal, not in the warning box. I know we had some reports earlier of funnel clouds across the Champaign area, and that has been really pretty much the whole story of the day. A lot of funnel clouds, some very short touchdowns, And we're going to continue to keep to monitor this until this warning is either pushed out of our area or expired. But even from the Chicago site, showing good rotation, even north of Middle Fork, might have some small spin near the Ellis area, south of Butler. So Hoopeston, you need to be getting ready to go to your storm shelter if this storm continues to persist, as we got pockets of rotation all over the place. Now I'm going to be sending it back over to our meteorologist Darren Leeds here. Darren, you've been seeing anything else? Seems like we've been seeing a lot of really good rotation just across the eastern side of Champaign and the Vermilion County area.
Yeah, and Matt, just like you said, a lot of rotation being picked up on our storm velocity products, but not amounting to what looks like any funnel cloud reports or tornado reports. For that matter, the last ones that we've kind of seen have been from that previous tornado warn cell for northern Champaign County over into, say, Ford and Iroquois County. But nothing really so far has been coming in with this newest cell for eastern Champaign over around the Ogden area and then going over up into Vermilion County. So I will say that is good news. It does look like things have kind of started to weaken here over, say, the last 30 minutes or so. Things were definitely very active a couple hours ago, about 3 hours ago, when we had that initial tornado warning back over around Springfield, Sangamon County. But it does look like, yeah, our atmospheric dynamics are not as significant as what we were seeing just, a couple hours ago when we were, say, a little bit warmer. Now things kind of starting to calm down, but it does still look like what we're seeing with our radar product is we're still seeing some pretty decent hail sizes being reported, or hail size potential. We had some of those hail sizes kind of starting to drop off the farther north that a lot of these cells began to move, and they began to kind of push closer to around an inch, say, in diameter. This one still looks like it has potential to produce about golf ball size hail, 1.75 inches, and still just radar indicated rotation. So it does appear that things kind of starting to kind of weaken a little bit more. Showing our velocity product, maybe a couple areas of rotation is what we're kind of seeing push over into Vermilion County right now. No, that's not what we wanted to do. If I can kind of push our way further back over, and even it looks like, about 3 pockets of rotation is what we're currently seeing. I just want to get our draw tool. So yes, very far Vermilion County, right on our Vermilion-Champaign County border, and then just kind of north of 74. But nothing overly impressive, relatively small areas of rotation. And again, no funnel clouds to report, so that's going to be one of the key kind of takeaways right now. In fact, our Carson Gordy was about to go cover a baseball game over in Bismarck in Vermilion County, and I said, that's probably about to get canceled right now. Everything else has kind of gotten canceled this afternoon for him, and so that was going to be his one final stop out there for this afternoon. But now it looks like, yes, everything kind of, we're just playing it safe weather-wise today with tornado potential. A few tornadoes did actually touch the ground today, and so just very active weather day for Central Illinois, so not really conducive for any outdoor sports activities. But yes, it does look like now we're seeing that polygon kind of get shaved off a little bit right now. We did have it around far eastern Champaign County, and now it looks like we're purely just around central and northern parts of Vermilion County. And it does look like south of Potomac, where you can see this shade of white here, that's the stronger core of where this cell is currently situated right now. And it does look like Danville, you guys might get missed entirely by a lot of this activity. It's just going to kind of trend well to your north. So you guys probably staying a little bit drier out there for today. Did have some more hail photos to show off to you here on air And Rob, do we have a location for these? Are they coming in with this cell particularly? Or are they coming in with one of our other, say, severe thunderstorm warnings? Want to see what we've got working here. No location. Okay, that I will say that is one thing that really helps us out is your name and the location. The hail, we can pretty much determine the size of it just kind of based on objects in the picture or if it's in the palm of your hand, but definitely location, and then we can pinpoint it back to these specific severe thunderstorm warnings or these specific tornado warnings, and then kind of also gives us a little bit more data to kind of crunch and see what these cells actually did throughout the entirety of the day and through their history, even just going back several hours. And then we can kind of pinpoint, okay, in this location, it was producing 2-inch hail. As it made its way further off to the north or off to the east, then it kind of saw that hail diameter begin to drop off a little bit more. And that also shows us signs of these storms kind of weakening as they've kind of progressed throughout the day here this afternoon. So also some crucial data, but photos also just very beneficial to kind of just see the overall picture of what our storm event has been throughout the entirety of the afternoon. And going here now, we're into the evening hours. We're past 5 o'clock, and it still does look like this is our this is our one tornado warning right now. The one up in Iroquois County just expired, and I think it was originally set to expire at 5:30. But this one still looks like it's enough to generate that tornado warning with the amount of rotation that we're seeing. And like we were saying, we're getting a couple areas of rotation just kind of pushing their way into Vermilion County at this point in time. And also it does look like starting to kind of see these little spots of pink in there, starting to pick up on some of those stronger winds maybe coming in with those areas of rotation. So we don't like to see that because it then can kind of maybe indicate that we could be seeing formation of a funnel cloud coming in. But Matt, it does look like, I think once this final warning expires in about 20-25 minutes or so, we're going to be looking at just smooth sailing going out throughout the rest of the evening. Would you agree?
Live from our studio in Springfield, you're watching News Channel 20 at 5.
Well, good afternoon, evening, everyone. We're still continuing our storm team coverage as we still have our tornado warning for the Vermilion County area. Now, I want to say, everyone else, Springfield, we've had a lot of folks asking about the Springfield area. While we're still in the watch, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets canceled here shortly. No other activity. It doesn't really seem like we're going to be seeing much. So we've had a lot of viewers, both on our Facebook page, asking about the rest of the viewing area. Not very concerned for Springfield, Lincoln, Jacksonville, Taylorville, Litchfield, even Decatur. I would say you guys are, for the most part, in the clear for the rest of today. We still got that tornado watch. I'll pull that up for you guys here in just a moment. So that watch still goes until 8 p.m. tonight. I expect it to definitely be canceled for some of our viewing areas here within the next maybe half an hour or so. But we still have that tornado warning all the way up in Vermilion County, and there are reports that there was a tornado on the ground back in Ogden. So we definitely are going to have to keep a close eye on this, as it's showing really impressive circulation, rotation, and I could go back a little bit earlier, showing probably when that tornado was on the ground, if near the Ogden area. This was back at 4:49. It still showed that it had really good rotation, even as it's made its way all the way back into Vermilion County. So people in Vermilion County, you need to be keeping an eye on this storm. It's very far away from our radar, but still showing that rotation. So if you're living in the South Rossville, even up to Hoopeston, if you're living anywhere in Vermilion County, you need to be in your storm shelters. This is the same scenario we've been having with all of our storms right now. It's been touching down, coming back up, staying as a funnel cloud, all day long. We had those reports of those tornadoes in the Sangamon County area earlier. So that's what we're still watching on. Nothing in Sangamon County. Springfield, you guys are pretty much in the clear. I'm not too worried about us here in the capital city for the rest of tonight. Still got to wait for that watch to be canceled, so all of our nerves are gone. But yeah, I know we had a little bit of a scare earlier with that earlier confirmed tornado, but now the only activities all the way up in Vermilion, and that doesn't even include Danville. That's not on our screen because you're not in that box. So it's just really the South Rossville, all the way up to Hoopston, even the Middle Fork area. Still got to keep an eye on it. But we had this earlier, likely was on the ground, and it's still making that northeasterly track. But luckily, this warning goes only to 5:30 p.m. So only around 20 more minutes more, and then we will hopefully be done with most of this activity. But the warning coordinator at the National Weather Service office in Lincoln still says that there's really good rotation, circulation here as it continues that northeastern track through Vermilion County. And this still goes on for another 20 minutes or so. So if you're in Vermilion County, need to be in your storm shelter. Let's see, we might have just got, there we go, perfect timing. Sangamon County, you're no longer in that watch. Just what I was expecting, that watch to be canceled. Yeah, instead of 30 minutes, it was 30 seconds. And that's canceled now for the Springfield area. So you guys are in the clear. No more worries for the rest of tonight. You could go have dinner, not have to worry about worrying about a storm coming through your area anymore. And I know we all had that little bit of a scare earlier with that confirmed tornado on the ground. And here at the station, we had to take shelter. We had to send it over to Darren for almost half an hour or so while we were in our storm shelter here at the studio. So yeah, it was a very active situation. Hit close to home here in Springfield, but showing a really good uptick in that spin now in Vermilion County, going almost directly towards South Ross into Rossville area. So our folks out there, you need to be in your storm shelter. This storm likely produced a tornado earlier in very eastern Champaign County near Ogden, just north of Ogden. Trying to see, I don't know if there was any videos sent in to the National Weather Service chat at all, but we did get some people saying there was a tornado on the ground at one point in the Ogden area. Now, I would say the main concern is for our folks in near the Route 1 or Route 136 area in Vermilion County. Danville, you're not in it. It's north of you. But this is showing pretty good rotation at the moment, showing these even darker yellow, orange colors are showing velocities closer to 60, even 70 miles per hour. So there's something called gate to gate. So it's the velocity on one side of the storm to the other. So this has probably almost a gate to gate near 80 miles per hour right now. This is very far away from the radar. It's probably 5,000-6,000 feet up at this moment. So this is showing more aloft. Doesn't mean it's confirmed on the ground, but it is showing pretty impressive rotation. Let's see if this is any different on our just regular velocity. Yeah, there's a much stronger spin. Those velocities, let me see if I can get that confirmed on my phone here just to give you a good number of how fast it's spinning. Some of these colors right here are showing wind gusts up to 85 miles per hour. So that's showing a really good spin right here in our portion of Vermilion County. Now that's north of the Oakwood area, north of I-74. So our folks in the path of this looks like to be South Ross, Jamesburg, Collision, all the way up to the Rossville area. And let's see, if we go to it shows even from the radar site all the way up in Juliet in the southwestern portion of the Chicagoland area, still showing really good rotation. So that's showing that even from that very far away, the spin is very strong within this storm. So that's why we have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, really impressive actually. This probably is producing a funnel cloud, maybe even on the ground. Let's see if it get any, it's gonna be really hard to see from just how far away it is if this is showing up on anything on the debris side of it. So got to zoom out as we were well over there earlier in the day. Maybe we are seeing right here a little bit of a discoloration in our correlation coefficient, or what we call the debris detector. So all the red is just showing raindrops, all very similar size, but when you have those lighter colors and even go into the blue colors, usually showing some kind of other things being picked up on radar. So we might be seeing that tornado near, if not close to, on the ground near Collision going towards Jamesburg, all the way up to South Ross. So you really need to be in your storm shelter at the moment. This is picking back up quite a bit. The velocity is really strong on both our storm relative, which shows just the wind speeds compared to the, not compared to the storm motion, and even the storm's motion velocity. There's a regular velocity scan showing very good rotation. So Jamesburg, South Ross, you need to be in your storm shelter. Likely this produced a tornado earlier near the Ogden area. So it's an evolving situation. Be in your storm shelter. I can't say that enough. Probably tired of hearing me say it, but putting the most walls between you and the outdoors as possible. It's the best way to protect yourself. If you're out on any of these routes or roadways, do not go under any overpasses. Those act like a wind funnel. So we need to be keeping an eye on this scenario. And just because it's an evolving situation, it's very outskirts of our viewing area. And like I said, anyone tuning in now, Springfield, you've been Springfield, the Sangamon County area, Lincoln, no longer in that tornado watch. The rest of the area, I believe this still goes until 8 p.m. tonight. I'm going to get that confirmed for you. Yeah, still continues to 8 p.m. tonight, but most of these storms are moving quite quick out of our viewing area at the moment. So going back to our velocity near the Jamesburg area and Collision is showing really good rotation. Haven't gotten any confirmation if this is confirmed at the moment. Let's put a little bit of a box around this. So that's what we're keeping an eye on right there as it's continuing that northeasterly track. So it's moving pretty much directly towards South Ross. So if you're in South Ross, near the, I believe the intersection of, I believe that's Illinois, let's see what route that is. That would be Route 136 and Route 1. So if you're near looks like it's the Henning Road, you need to be in your storm shelters. This is showing really good rotation at the moment. We have storm pics. Do we know where these storm pictures are from? This is from the capital city earlier today. So like I said, you guys have been awesome as our viewers, sending us all these photos as being a part of our, our storm coverage. And that's what we like to see, putting locations on it, sending it to our chime-in page. You can find it on our website or our app. And it's been really helpful because it gives us a different view because we're stuck here in the studio. We can't necessarily see outside, especially if our tower cam's being blocked by either the pole that it's on or all the rain. So it's been really, really good and really helpful, and we can send that information off to the National Weather Service. So I appreciate all the viewers, what you guys have been doing. You guys have been a part of this with us, and we really do appreciate that. But this velocity is still showing to be quite impressive in the Vermilion County area. So our folks in Vermilion County, if you're north of it, and here's our weather app. You could download it on the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search WICS Weather or WX. And you can get all of our updates. You can set your preferences to where you're at. So you get weather alerts, you get that tornado watch, tornado warning sent right to your phone. Great way to say, get multiple communications. But the Vermilion County area, you guys need to be in your storm shelter. Videos of sounds like a tornado north of Fifth. Let me see if I can get where that town is here in just a second. And then we'll toss it back to Darren. So currently, this is likely a very active situation for some of our folks in our viewing area, as this city all the way out in Vermilion County we're getting reports of that a tornado was on the ground. Now, likely that was all the way out here north of Brothers. So likely seeing some kind of funnel cloud or something maybe even on the ground earlier. We'll see if the National Weather Service office in Lincoln decides to confirm this tornado warning or not. Still radar indicated based off the information they're providing us, but it's been showing really impressive velocity scans. Some of these pink and these darker yellow shades that you're seeing here on your screen are showing velocities or wind speeds close to 75 miles per hour. So gate to gate, that's probably close to 85, maybe getting close to 90. So a real tight spin here, and this will likely go near or maybe just hopefully just south of South Ross. So this is this thing that we have to keep an eye on. This is a very tight couplet from very far away. So if the rotation is this strong aloft, it's likely pretty much near the surface, which is why this is a tornado warning at the moment. So we still got to keep an eye on this cell as it continues to push to the northeast through portions of Vermilion County. Danville, you're down here. You're not in the warning. I would say you're not expected to really see this continue to be pushed into your area, but we got to continue to watch this as this is in our very fringe of our viewing Vermilion County. All of our folks in Springfield, you're in the clear. No more worries for the rest of the night. You hear me on Facebook and online, in the clear. Don't have to worry, but let's go back to our meteorologist, Darren Leeds. Darren, what else have you been seeing about this storm? And it's been pretty impressive the last 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, pretty much exactly just what you're saying, Matt. And yeah, I would agree. Last 10, 15 minutes, like we said, we've kind of highlighted those smaller areas where we were pinpointing rotation over in Vermilion County. But this one definitely looks like it's kind of been strengthening here recently. Did have a report from a storm spotter over in Vermilion County about a possible tornado that was just south of the Armstrong area, south of Collison, and that kind of looks like this is what it would be. Yeah, you saw with that just most recent scan that went through, starting to kind of get a little bit more of this green reflectivity coming in, which would tell us this is going back towards our radar site. And right now, I think we're still coming in from the Lincoln, whether we're on Lincoln or whether we're on our Chicago radar now, we're kind of pinpointing in between a few of these sites, or even Indianapolis at this point with how far east that we are. But this would tell us that, yes, probably some pretty good rotation in there right now. And so, yeah, again, southeast of Collison, we're north of Danville, we're south of South Ross. But it does look like this kind of making a little bit more of an eastward push, similar to what we were actually seeing with that cell that was coming into Ford and Iroquois County. It was coming south to north, and then all of a sudden it was going west to east. And so kind of interesting, just kind of the dynamics of some of these storms that we've been seeing just in the last couple of hours, almost like a pure directional shift, not just kind of meandering slightly, but yeah, almost just a pure just movement change entirely. But yes, this is going to be the area that we're kind of pinpointing right now. Let's jump over to our radar product, and doesn't look like we're picking up on much of a hook signature, which would also help to kind of indicate that we could potentially have a tornado being spawned, or maybe even a funnel cloud that's about to be produced. But it does look like now that we're kind of getting multiple scans coming in with multiple radar sites getting with this, yeah, not really getting too much of that hooking happening. But our velocity definitely would indicate, yeah, southeast of Collison, we're getting some pretty good rotation coming in along with that. We've got these stronger outflow winds. That's where we're getting these areas of pink kind of in there. And then our red making its way away from the radar site, green and some of that gray going back towards that radar site. So it definitely, we're getting a little bit better of an idea just kind of based on our storm relative velocity right now, just compared to what we're picking up on radar itself. Let's jump over to our storm reports. I just want to see if we happen to get any kind of a funnel cloud report or anything like that, but it does not appear that we have anything that would indicate that we've got a spotter out there seeing a funnel cloud or anything kind of descending from a wall cloud that's coming in with these thunderstorms that we've been seeing have that rotation, some of that spin up. But I will say one positive is it does look like our hail sizes have kind of started to fall a little bit. Right now we've got this just a little bit below about an inch in diameter. And we are seeing with those tornado warnings that these cells have potential to produce almost 2-inch size hail, but 1.75 inches, that puts us around a golf ball size in diameter. So absolutely that can do its own damage in and of itself. If it's going to hit your vehicle, hit your home, can do damage to siding, windows, roofs, can pretty much hail out a vehicle if we get enough of it kind of falling in one specific area. But it does look like, yes, with our hail reports, a lot of that kind of tracking to the north of where we're seeing that area of rotation in and around what we're picking up with our relative velocity at this point in time. Storm radar still, we're getting radar indicated, but this system still does look like it's making its way off towards the east and northeast. And again, our Carson Gordy was about to head over to Bismarck to shoot a baseball game this afternoon. I said, Carson, you're not going to be able to go to that game. It is absolutely about to get canceled. And then we had this tornado warning just pop up. And even without a tornado, we've got enough active weather with the severe thunderstorm warning, heavy rain, lightning. You factor in some of that hail. And yes, that game got canceled along with a number of other outdoor events that we had scheduled for this afternoon. As Matt was talking about just a little bit ago, it does look like further off to our west, most of our counties that we had issued under that tornado watch now in the clear. Pretty much all of our counties down there along and west of Interstate 55. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a few more of these expire here very shortly, because it does look like most of our activity at this point in time is kind of centered in and around and north of Interstate 74. But you can see south of 72, everything's in the clear. We're not expecting any more redevelopment happening over the course of the next couple of hours or for the rest of this evening. And in fact, our weather is looking like it is going to be much calmer as we're going into tonight's forecast. And then we're going to get a little bit cooler, as that cold front right now does look like it's kind of driving a lot more of this activity that we've been seeing kind of over the last couple of hours. Let's jump back over to our camera tool, and we are going to get another check of our cell over here in Vermilion County. So we do still have that tornado warning in effect till 5:30. So we got about 4 minutes or so right here. And it doesn't look like, again, we're seeing too much hooking happening, but I will definitely say we do appear to have a little bit more of that rotation, and it's kind of becoming a little bit more distinct at this point in time. I'm actually going to jump over and see if we've got any new updates in our National Weather Service chat, but yeah, Bismarck looks like it's going to be kind of in the crosshairs of this system right now. But yeah, we still continue to kind of see that evidence of strong rotation in Vermilion County, but nothing has quite spun up a funnel cloud of anything. Confirmed tornado. All right, that's a new update here now. All right, there we go. So that is exactly what I was looking at. So here's the tornado right now. So let's get some information. All right, so 1 minute ago, confirmed tornado located near Collison. It is 7 miles to the northwest of Danville. It is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So these storms have kind of been slowing down a little bit more, but definitely still going to be looking at that tornado being our primary threat, along with potential for golf ball size hail. But emergency management in Vermilion County did observe and confirm a tornado. So again, Bismarck, Rossville, I'm going to want you to get into your safe space. Most interior part of your home or of your business. If you have a basement, basement's the best spot to be. If you do not have a basement, an interior closet, interior hallway, interior bathroom, anything that is void of windows. If you can put as many layers of walls between you and the outdoors as possible, that is going to be your best bet. Again, this is where we've got this tornado pretty much pinpointed right now. Let's zoom in a little bit and kind of give you some cross streets. So we have this pretty much centered around East 2750 North Road. We are pretty much at the intersection of 136 and Illinois 119, west of Bismarck, west of North 1800 East Road. To the southwest of Alvin. So Alvin, I'm going to want you to get into your safe space right now as well, because once again, we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground right now. So our velocity, again, a very good indicator of where we're picking this up at. Debris detection doesn't give us too good of a sign, but I would say we're starting to see some of that mixing happening between precipitation and between debris possible. Is pretty much going to be west of Alvin and west of Bismarck. So that's where we're seeing things that are not rainfall. Precipitation, any kind of rain, we're going to be picking up on pretty much that pure dark red, that maroonish color, and we're picking up on things that are not going to be uniform in shape. Some other stuff that is likely going to be dirt and debris west of Bismarck area, west of Alvin. And again, we go back to our storm relative velocity, and yeah, take a look. We're actually kind of starting to see this amplify a little bit more, kind of condensing. We were seeing kind of that very long swath of rotation, and now it looks like it's kind of starting to cluster together a little bit more, and we're kind of seeing more organized. But again, Bismarck, Alvin, get to your safe space, your basement. At this point in time, if you're not already there, I need you to get there right now. Bring your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop with you, and you can stream us online. Also, if you have a weather radio, get that weather radio ready, or if it's already in your safe space, that's going to be beneficial as well, because this is, once again, confirmed tornado on the ground. Emergency management in Vermilion County observed and confirmed it. And still, it does look like right now, sight set on the Bismarck area. We've been seeing this easterly, northeasterly track, and even this tornado has kind of been slowing down here more recently, especially over the course of about the last 10-15 minutes. We originally had it pinged around 40 miles per hour. Now we've got about 30 mile per hour movement, so definitely beginning to slow, and it can absolutely kind of wreak havoc in one specific area for a little bit longer with that slower progression as it continues to make its way east and northeast. Bismarck, this thing pretty much just starting to come in again. It's right west of North 1800th East Road, over just south of the Bismarck area. 136 and 119 is a good cross section of where we've got this thing pinpointed to at this point in time. Does look like we're continuing to go past our 5:30 expiration time, and so likely going to be seeing this get extended till at least 6 o'clock. I'm going to get a check on that here in just a second, but southwest of the Henning area, and now continuing to make its way into Bismarck and into Alvin. So again, hope everybody is getting in their safe place or already there. Again, this is where we've got this tornado currently situated just south of 119 and just east of 136 in Vermilion County. This is a tornado on the ground. Again, take cover now. Get to your basement, most interior part on the lowest floor of your home or of your business. Avoid windows and make sure you're putting as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. Majority of our injuries in severe weather events come from flying debris, and with our hail sizes, with the potential for those winds to whip things into homes and break windows, we are going to be wanting you to cover yourself with something sturdy. Even if you have a football helmet, baseball helmet, motorcycle helmet, if you happen to be in a room with windows, at least you can protect your head with something substantial and make sure you're keeping yourself as safe as possible. But once again, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It is pretty much centered right around the Bismarck area, just south of Alvin. We've got it east of 136, south of 119, and now starting to see it move right over the Bismarck area at this point in time Actually looks like this thing's been doing a little bit more of an easterly, almost southeasterly track over the last 10 minutes or so now, instead of just that pure northeasterly movement. I'm going to see if we've got any kind of new reports to pass along to you. So still picking up on very strong rotation within this storm. And again, this thing has the history of producing a tornado. Still making its way around 30 miles per hour, so not really seeing it speed up, not seeing it slow down, but it is maintaining. So still continues to kind of chug along with a little bit of some steam to it. Let's see if we've got any new reports to pass along. So there was that hail report, or that tornado report, excuse me. And it does look like there might be some video and photos of tornadoes, if anybody might be able to grab some of that, and then we can show it off here on air right now. But yes, this is what we've got. Tornado on the ground in Vermilion County. It's actually almost over to the Indiana border right now, south of Alvin, centered over Bismarck over in Vermilion County. Matt Bednar is also joining me now. And Matt, what are you seeing?
Yeah, really good rotation. This is very far away from the radar, and we apologize to all of our viewers in Springfield. This is our coverage area, so we do have to continue to provide that coverage for the time being, wall-to-wall coverage whenever there's a tornado, especially, and unfortunately we have a confirmed tornado on the ground that likely was probably producing some kind of damage at some point in portions of Vermilion County. Anyone in Bismarck, you need to be in your storm shelter. It's right over your head, if not in the ground near your area. I know we had our Carson Gordy going out there earlier, and supposed to be going out there earlier today on the Coverage Sports, and yeah, the town's getting likely hit either by some kind of really strong rotation or possibly even a tornado still on the ground. Looks like from the National Weather Service in Lincoln, the rotation is still very strong and still history of producing tornadoes. But once this gets to the Indiana border, we'll probably drop out of our wall-to-wall coverage. There's the border, so it's within just a couple miles right now, and it looks like it's now west of Bismarck. East of Bismarck, I apologize. So it's still moving. Looks like directly along East 2750 North Road, and then eventually going to 2800 North Road. So that's the area you need to be keeping an eye on. The very, very eastern side of Vermilion County, still producing really good rotation, and the radar site's all the way out in Lincoln. So this is very, very, very far away. Everyone in Springfield, like I said, we apologize. Even in Decatur, even in Champaign, we apologize for having to interrupt normal programming. But we do have this tornado warning, and it is confirmed at the moment, and it's likely one of our several that we've had today confirmed as we head all the way back, in southwestern Springfield, into Macon County, portions of Piatt, now all the way into Vermilion County, as well as Ford and Iroquois. So we've had several likely confirmed tornadoes, and especially when you have these portions of velocity that kind of seep into the away portion. So this is going towards the east, this is going the other way. This is really where we're having to keep an eye on, and it's pretty much right on East 2550 North Road. So right here, I would say this is the real main concern with this storm, as it pushed pretty much east, maybe a little bit to the northeast, going towards our very, very edge of our viewing area, which is right here. So once this storm gets pretty much right there, we're going to be jumping out of our coverage, but we still have to continue to cover it for the time being, probably the next 5 to 10 more minutes as this storm continues that push. But especially when you get those greens pushing into the opposite, so you got winds moving towards the radar in Lincoln, winds moving away, and you got that mixture, that's a really good sign that there is likely a funnel cloud or maybe even a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is still observed according to the National Weather Service in Lincoln. But this is pushing very, very, very close all the way out to the Indiana border. We do have the Champaign Tower Cam. Can we pull that up real quick? Maybe getting a good view of that storm. I'm guessing this is looking pretty much directly east, maybe a little bit to the northeast, showing all that rain. So this is likely rain wrapped. So don't go out there and try to get videos of it. Even though we appreciate all the photos you've sent to us, this is likely a rain wrapped storm. So you need to be in your storm shelter. If you're in Bismarck right now, I would say you're not necessarily in the clear, but especially the eastern side of Bismarck, you need to be in your storm shelter as this scenario is still really ongoing. If we go back to here, the graphics right now, really good rotation showing up in the storm at a very prominent kind of cutoff, showing us a really strong couplet on our very, very eastern edge. But it's almost there into Indiana, and that's when we'll likely stop our wall-to-wall coverage. But like I said, I apologize to everyone in Springfield, Decatur, and the rest of our viewing area. Especially with this a confirmed tornado, we have to continue to keep the coverage going for a little bit longer. But everyone else, pretty much everywhere else in our viewing area, you're in the clear. Not really expecting any more activity the rest of today, but definitely the eastern side of Bismarck going all the way into the Indiana border. We have this very strong rotation with observed tornado on the ground at some point, and also producing 1.75 inch hail. So that's golf ball size hail, getting even close to, and that's almost, like I said, almost there. Probably got one more scan, and then we could drop out of this wall-to-wall coverage here. Very good rotation and a lot of mixing in those colors, right? Going into the green portion, also the green going to the red, showing really strong rotation, likely aloft. This is probably 6,000 feet in the air, getting to the very edge of the Lincoln radar as well as the Chicago radar. But with how strong this rotation is, would not be surprised at all. We got a tornado near, I believe that's a 2800 North Road, going near and to the Indiana-Illinois border right now. So still confirmed tornado on the ground. Got to keep a close eye on this if you live in very far eastern Vermilion County, as this storm is still producing that. I'm going to go back and see if we can get any more information from the National Weather Service. Sounds like there was a tornado either on the ground or a funnel cloud near Bismarck around 5 minutes ago. But like I said, our viewing area pretty much cuts off in just a couple more minutes. So we'll go back to normal programming here, probably closer to 5:45. Let's just say that's probably what we're going to do at this point. But still, observed tornado on the ground. It's about to actually leave this box. So we'll see. I don't even know. I don't think NWS Lincoln covers, I believe this is also Vermilion County, Indiana. But that's the scenario we're in, showing really good, strong rotation right there on the border of Illinois and Indiana, along or just south of East 2800 North Road and Illinois Route 119. So if you know anyone out there, need to be in your storm shelter. If you're in the Marshville area, if you're still getting our signal, you need to be in your storm shelter as well. As we've seen storms make that northerly trend. My guess is that when they made that easternly push is when they started getting closer to that warm front. Now I was hoping that this circulation would actually weaken as it does it, maybe get past that warm front, but not the scenario now. Still showing really strong rotation, observed tornado, but about to leave this warning box at the moment. So we're almost done with our coverage here. Let's just set a point for 5:45. We'll go back to our normal programming and our newscast here on Fox, and then World News on ABC. But this is still showing really good rotation going into the Indiana area now. The next scan is going to push it into Indiana here probably in the next 3 minutes or so. So right now it looks like this is the only activity. We actually got a new severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. for the Champaign area. Let's get this on. I don't know if, let's see if this has a tornado possible tag. Does not. So that's the good news. It's just for 1 inch size hail, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. But we still got these two storms moving into pretty much into Indiana now here in the next minute, couple minutes or so. So it's almost out of our viewing area, but pretty much done with the rest of the region. Springfield, you're no longer in that watch, so all of our folks in Springfield, sigh of relief. We had that tornado confirmed at one point near or even in the Springfield area. A lot of funnel cloud reports, and it looks like that latest scan, get it to show up. It's just so far away from the Lincoln radar now. It's pretty much in Indiana. So we'll go 2 more minutes at 5:45. We'll go back to normal programming. World News on ABC, our newscast here at 5:30 on Fox. And yeah, they expanded that warning now into Fountain and Warren County in Indiana. So it's pretty much pushing our area. Still got one more severe Still got the severe thunderstorm warning for Champaign and Vermilion County until 6:15. We got this other one for northern Vermilion County into 6:15 as well, with both 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But rest of our viewing area, nothing really going on, and that's good. So here in the next minute, we'll go back to our normal programming as this tornado has now pushed into Indiana. Still likely with that warning no longer confirmed on the ground. So yeah, we'll be signing it off here in just a second. I want to thank everyone for sending all the photos you guys have been doing. The viewers, you guys have been awesome. Really helped make this coverage really good. We had great video from our tower cam, from everyone. And please submit as much as you can. If you have even damage reports, and it doesn't have to be a home or a building damage, that could just be large tree limbs, maybe even if there's any power lines down, any fences, send us our way. We can get that to the National Weather Service, so when they go out and survey likely tomorrow, they could try to pinpoint where that was. So we're going to be going back to our normal programming here in just a second. World News on ABC, our show here on Fox, Illinois. We really appreciate everyone for keeping in touch with us, both on air and online, and we really do appreciate that. But let's go back to our normal programming.
Live from our studios, you're watching Fox Illinois News at 5:30.
Coming up on Fox Illinois News at 5:30, severe weather hitting the capital city.